When I was 20 years old, I had to choose between going to college full-time, working full-time, and surfing. I took a 5-year hiatus off from surfing. I didn't surf for a really long time. I was 27 years old when I got signed, and a longboarder. And that's kind of unheard of. I had a late start in my career, but I do not regret it at all.
Yeah.
The kids,
it's just character building.
Character building. Seriously, sometimes, like, to be honest, sometimes I'm like, oh, I deserve that licking. It's funny, right? When you like learn from your parents, you kind of just goes over your head, right? Like they teach you how to like clean a microwave or cook something. You're like, oh, okay, whatever. It goes right over your head. The second your auntie or uncle taught you, your attention was so on it. Tell me not, right?
Wow, yeah.
Tell me not.
That's so true. They're a step away from like that authority figure.
Yeah.
But they're still authority.
Yes. But
so
they're also your friend.
But then, yeah, exactly.
You know, they're also your friend.
Sleep more.
Sleep. And if not, sleep you. Now I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Velina mai kako. Welcome to Keep It Aloha, a podcast that keeps it aloha by calling anyone older than you auntie and uncle, even though they're not actually your auntie and uncle by blood. We have an amazing guest today, but before we introduce her, I gotta remind you to check out keepitaloha.com to buy some KIA merch. Use code KEEPITALOHA to get 10% off. And don't forget to check out our Patreon at patreon.com/kamakadias to become a part of our Patreon Ohana for as little as $3 a month. You can get exclusive behind-the-scenes content and listen to the uncut episodes before they are even released to the public. Shout out to our new $10 a month tier member Ray Sensei and our two new $50 a month members Greg Nakamatsu and DM from Liribu Collective. I appreciate you all so much. If supporting this podcast like them with money is not for you though, but you still love listening to this podcast, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It would mean the world to us. All right, let's introduce our guest. What if we told you the next 3 times you fill your tank, you could save money? Well, at Texaco in Hawaii, it's true. You can get $1 off per gallon on your next 3 visits when you download the Texaco app and join Texaco Rewards. Earn points on every fuel transaction and qualifying in-store purchases at participating Texaco stations. Download the app and join to get started today. Visit texacohawaii.com for details. Our guest today is a waterwoman from the island of Oahu. She is a professional longboard surfer, fisherwoman, boxer, coach, and so much more. This Ford ambassador is one of the most multi-faceted people you'll ever meet and is paving the way for the next generation of hammers. She is an OG slippah slappah and your favorite professional auntie. I am so stoked to talk stories with her today. Her name is Megan Godinez. Aloha, Auntie Megs. Welcome to the Keep It Aloha podcast. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me. That whole spiel was like on point. I was like, hey, yeah, hyping me up. Okay.
That's like my favorite part. Hyping up.
Hyping it up. Yeah. I was like, some of the things like I would forget. Like I was like, yeah, I'm a professional longboarder. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I am OG slippah slappah. Like, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
You're not just a Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, I'm not Wreck-It Ralph in expensive clothes. Yeah.
Well, it's awesome meeting you. I love the things that you do. I love that episode you did with Kimmy Warner. I was just telling Megan when she came in, I was like, yeah, I mean, I've seen your stuff randomly, and then one day I just saw your episode with Kimmy, and I was like, this person is a hammer. I need to get her on the podcast. And I just DM'd you right then.
Yeah, you did.
Actually, no, you didn't even see it, actually.
I didn't.
It was Matt, our friend Matt.
He was then when he texted me, I'm like, oh God, what, Matt? Like, what do you want? And then he was just like, oh, my friend Kamaka DM'd you. And I was like, huh? And I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, yes, of course. Yeah.
Sure. Your name just came. We went surfing, then went to Kamitoku Ramen. And then I think I was just talking about his jobs, what he's doing. And he just shot with, I don't know if he shot with you and Kalia or he did a video with something.
She was surfing out in like Waikiki or something. Yeah.
And then I think I asked how he started filming for them a lot. And he said he would take pictures of their crew or people in Waikiki, and then your name came up, and I was like, oh, I just DM'd her. And he's like, oh, you want me to text her? And then that's how it happened.
See? Yeah. the coconut wireless over here in Hawaii.
Exactly, yeah. I don't even know why I DM people anymore. I just gotta
ask her phone number. Ask Matt.
I'll ask Matt to be my manager.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
But we have a lot to get into, and I'm excited to learn more about your story. So we all start at the beginning. Where are you from? Where you grad? And what was it like growing up?
That grad question is so funny. That is like only a Hawaii thing, by the way.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I love it.
It's
so
that
much.
Or what school you went?
Yeah, what school you went.
Yeah.
But it's saying exactly like that. Like not like, oh, what school did you attend? It's like, what school you went? So I live and I currently I grew up and currently live in Kaneohe on the east side, but I grew up in town because both of my parents worked in town, like early in the morning. My dad was in the military, my mom's a teacher, and so we kind of. I tell everyone like, yeah, I live in Kaneohe, but I grew up in Kalihi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my parents are like, to me, the Hamels of Hamels. My dad's blood is like, he's from Halawa housing. And then my mom is from Kalihi. And you put those together and then it's like, forget about it. You're like, oh, okay.
Then you just get slippah slappahs.
And then you get slippah slappahs. You get someone who just is like, yeah, 10 years old wanting to go surf and just like big waves, didn't care. But yeah, so I grew up in Kalihi and then I went to school in Wanalua. So it's like this weird triangle, right?
Okay.
That's why everyone's like, wait, I'm so confused. Where did you grow up? I was like, I don't know, Oahu. That's what I end up saying. It's because like live in Kaneohe, grew up in Kalihi, went to school I graduated from Wanalua.
Okay.
Class of 09.
09.
Oh, I just showed my age. Hello.
Well, I'm 11, so you're only 2 years older.
Okay.
Yeah. I know. I play soccer with a bunch of Wanalua grads.
Really?
Yeah. I think they're either that age or a little older. Jaren Ching is one. Brian, Kenny, Keenan. I don't know their last names. Yeah.
I grew up playing soccer too, but not for school because I had to like transition into surfing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played soccer for like 6-7 years.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you might know some of them.
Yeah.
If I remember their names later, I'll tell you. So you grew up just always active, doing all kinds of things.
Yep. So, I mean, like, wake up in the morning. My parents would wake us up at 4 a.m. to take us to our grandma's house. So my grandma actually raised us most of the time because my parents were always at work. And my grandma, I'm like basically I'm cut from the same cloth of my grandma. Like I'm constantly always cooking, constantly always running after kids. Like whether it was scolding them, like teaching them, loving on them. And it was wake up in the morning, go to school. After that, we had soccer practice, piano, guitar lessons, whatever it was. Like we were always busy. I played every sport growing up besides tennis and water polo. Like I played football I was in for Kalakaua Vikings when I was Pop Warner.
That's crazy.
Yep. That's what I mean. Like I was in Kalihi like a lot. I would like hang out. I went to Kapalama Elementary School, Wanalua Middle School, and then Wanalua High School. And yeah, and if it was on the weekends, we were never at home. Like we were always at the beach because my dad was the fisherman, and my both sides of my mom and dad's side, my grandfathers were fishermen. My grandpa on my dad's side was a lobster fisherman, like old school giant 13-foot bamboo pole would sit at what's it called? By like past Hanama Bay, the blowhole.
Oh yeah.
He would sit there.
Halona blowhole, is that?
Yeah, Halona blowhole. Yeah. And would sit there with a bamboo pole, and he would know when the lobsters would bite the hook, and he would fling them up. So, and then my grandpa on my mom's side was a diver. And threw net. So I grew up learning everything. Like I knew all the fish by the time I was 10.
Wow.
Because I wanted to eat them. So I had to know them.
Yeah. And then you learned how to cook because you had to prepare 'em,
exactly.
everything.
And it was always like, if you're going to catch it, you better humanely kill it and cook it. If you want to eat, you better learn. So that's why my dad would always tell us, like, you can teach someone, or you can give someone a fish for a day. What's the saying?
You give someone a fish, they
feed
eat
them
for a day.
Yeah.
You teach them how to fish, they
eat for a lifetime. Yeah. So that was always his motto and always his goal. So I was his little tail. Anywhere he went, like diving for taco, whether it was or throw net or spear fishing or just whipping, I was always behind him, just being like, okay, what are we doing? Like what kind of bait are we using? Like what time in the morning are we going? And I remember my grandma was the one that would walk the beach with me. We used to rent like the cabins at on the west side,
Mm-hmm.
and she used to teach me like what limu was good.
Wow.
So that was really
That's so
cool.
cool.
So that's why I was just like, I haven't really like thought about how much that had an impact on my life till like recently. As I get older,
Yeah.
like I was like, holy crap, like this stuff is like really, it doesn't, no kid really learns that anymore.
Yeah, because they got stuff like this.
iPad, iPhone, you know?
Yeah. It is sad, but I do love the era that we grew up in because it was before social media. So we had like half no social media, half with social media.
I agree. I feel like our generation was the perfect one. Like we were so fortunate to be sandwiched between that, to understand what social media is and how it will work for us, and then also understand nature and being grounded and being outside, having a conversation with someone. Like I'm baffled at some of the kids that I'm like, you tell them hi, and they get shy. And I remember as a kid, I would always say hi, but you know, like growing up in Hawaii, like if you don't say hi, you get lickings. Like, you know, so it's I think growing up in that middle was
that's so interesting. The kids saying hi, because I noticed that a lot with parents. They're like, go say hi. They always tell me the kids like they're on their iPad or something, and they're like, go say hi.
Right.
And I wonder if I was like that, or our time as a kid, like we would be forced to say hi. But I feel like no, but I don't know. I don't remember.
I feel like I was shy, but we had no choice, even like our generation, to know what people look like. We weren't down like this, looking at a phone or an iPad or something. So we were constantly observing who I'm saying hi to, and who's an auntie, who's an uncle, who's an elder, who's my cousin. So I think we're a lot more aware than, you know, kids nowadays.
Yeah, maybe in like our social interactions or social cues.
Yeah,
we're better.
It's so different now.
Yeah,
so different. Like I sometimes I'll walk past my niece or nephew and they won't even look up because they're so, and it's not because, you know,
they're trying to be rude or
anything. They're not trying to be rude. They're just so in tune with whatever's like their game they're playing or whatever. But yeah, I'm constantly trying to instill that and like look up, like, you know.
Okay.
So
yeah, so you did all these outdoor activities, learned a lot of stuff, and then when did you really get into surfing and know that you were on a path of becoming a professional?
I remember my first wave ever. I was 4 years old at Bellows Beach, and my dad would push me on the boogie board. We were at the beach every weekend, like I said. He'd push me on a boogie board, and out of nowhere, I just stood up on the boogie board, and I just thought it was so fun. And 2 months after that, our neighbor had a surfboard, and he was like, oh yeah, my daughter has been standing up, 4 years old. So he let me borrow it. And ever since then, from 4 to about 10, I was like kind of dabbling in it and having fun with it. And then 10 years old was the first time I ever did my surf competition in Waikiki at the China Uemura Wahine Classic.
Super cool.
And I won.
Nice.
The first contest I ever did, like put on a jersey, was in a heat, 20-minute heat, 5 other girls, you know, and to me, that was rare. Like you're in Waikiki all the time, like you're surfing with 100 other people. So to have that moment of 20 minutes with the other girls, I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, and progressing in the contest and then winning it, like having a big trophy. That was the cool thing too, was Uncle China, RIP, he first place would get trophies like tall as us.
Wow.
Which was so sick. And he really, him and his family really like started a lot of our careers, to be honest. So that's where it all kind of started for not only me, but for a lot of the women in my generation.
You're talking about shortboarding or longboarding or both?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I remember that contest. We had like Bethany Hamilton. Yeah, that's her last name. Bethany Hamilton come down. There was Megan Abubu who did it. Layla Hurst, myself, Kalia. And and it was during the summertime, so that was like the one contest. Everyone flew out from Big Island, Kauai, like everyone flew in for that, and people even from the mainland came down.
Wow.
It was so fun, and that's what started the career, really. Yeah.
And then from that point on, you started to get recognized, or I guess you started building a reputation for yourself as a really good longboarder, and then you did more contests and more contests, got sponsors, etc. And then
basically so 10 years old, started surfing and or started competing, and it's funny, like my parents were like, "Hey, you're doing like 3 different sports. Like you're doing soccer, you're doing basketball, you're doing like volleyball, and you're surfing, like, and you're also like doing piano recitals. Like, what do you want to do?" And my dad that's the first time he ever asked me, was because even when we were younger, he always made sure both of my parents always made sure we were doing something, like expose us to as much as possible, and then try and have us choose. And I ended up choosing surfing. And I think it was because of it was the one sport that's very individualized. So you have no choice but to look for friends. You're not on a soccer team, right? And you're like, oh, that's the goalie, or that's the mid forward. Like, okay, we're all friends. Like, we have to work as a team. You're first and foremost your team, and then you build, which I appreciated, because I was like, I have to be friends. And yeah, it started like that. And at 14, I got invited to do my first professional contest in California. First time I've ever flown to California at Huntington Beach. I can't stand that wave, but I was like, okay, this is what it is. I did horrible. That was probably the closest to death I brushed across, because I didn't know how to paddle through the pilings of like the pier, and it's covered in barnacles. To me, it was dark, so I'm like, okay, great whites live under here. They don't, but I was like so scared. And I remember coming in, and I got caught in a riptide. My board broke. I was 14 years old. My dad I just came in. And what's so funny is I remember being like, I hate surfing. I don't want to do this. I hate it. And my dad didn't say one word. He was like, let it out. Go ahead. And then after he like, I took like 2 days to recover. Like, I was so mad. And he was like, just go surf out there. And I ended up surfing, and then that was it. Like, I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. And I went years competing till I was 18. There was a moment where everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna go to college?" And I was like, "No, I'm gonna be like a professional surfer." And there was a company that had interest in me, but as I graduated high school, pulled the contract. And I was like, holy crap, what am I going to do? So I actually ended up doing retail. I worked for Express for 7 years. And then I did retail for 12 years. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
Everyone just thinks like I was a sponsored surfer. I like won contests, this and that. I was like, no.
You're hustling on the side.
Honestly, that was my life. I had to, when I was 20 years old, I had to choose between going to college full-time, working full-time, and surfing. And then this is so bad, but I was like, money talks. Of course, I'm going to try and work full-time. I took a 5-year hiatus off from surfing. I didn't surf for a really long time.
Like competition-wise?
And regular. I took 5 years off. I was like, this is not even feeding my soul anymore. Wow. And from 21 to about 26, I didn't surf. I just worked. I worked at Express for a little bit. I moved to California to help a friend out. She had a baby. She had postpartum, so I flew out there, helped her for a little bit, and then I came back home and I worked for Kate Spade for 2 years, and I handled the area support center, which was the intake and inventory of the state of Hawaii.
That's crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They're like, what do you mean? Like, you worked retail? I was like, that's how life just went. I knew surfing wasn't going to pay the bills. Yeah. School at the time, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I was wasting money going to school because I was taking these prereqs that didn't even had nothing to do with what I at the time wanted to do. there was times I wanted to be a lawyer. There was times I wanted to be a vet. There was times I wanted to be a nurse. There was times I wanted to be an agent, all these things. And I was just like, I don't know what path, so I'm just gonna stick to what I know. And I worked retail, and then 27, was it 27 or 26? The longboard tour for WSL started back up, and Kilia at the time wasn't really doing contests either, and she knew when I was working at Kate Spade, she was like, the contest was in March, so we had this conversation in December, and she came to me and she was like, oh, there's this contest in Australia at Noosa, like, should we do it? And her too, she hadn't done contests, and I was like, should this be our comeback? And this is when we were 26. And this is when like Khalees and Sophia were all starting to come up. And we're like, oh, we got so many kids to go up against. Like, and she was like, nah, let's just do it. Yeah. So I took PTO. I went to go surf. I made it pretty far, I think quarters or something. And I was like, oh,
Auntie still got it.
Hey, I was like, hammer. I was like, oh, okay, Auntie still got it. Okay. And after that, and then after that, Roxy reached out to me and was like, we want to sponsor you. And this was interesting. This was a time, you know, growing up, especially with surf companies, they struggled with representing everyone. You know, like you see a poster and it's like a girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, nothing against her, you know, but it was a model. Yeah. And I never looked like that. Yeah. I looked like a freaking pit bull. I came out looking like I was ready for swing. I came out like literally 9 pounds, 2 ounces out of my mom, looking like I was lying. You came up with your hands. I came up with. I know, seriously. My dad says I was such a big baby. My shoulders. I mean, obviously, my shoulders are freaking massive. I should have been a linebacker, but my shoulders were so big that when they pulled me out, and they like, she had to have a C-section. They pulled me out, and I supposedly grabbed the scalpel. Like I was just like an active kid as soon as I came out. But I was so good at sleeping and eating, which I'm still really good at. And I grabbed the scalpel, and I like almost swiped the doctor with the scalpel. I don't know how much that's true, but that's what I was told. And I was, so. Oh. Yeah. And then so after that, in Australia, I was, Roxy reached out, and they were like, yeah, like you just have your own type of, you're your own type of person. Like for the longest time, I've never tried to conform to any type of societal standard. Not because I just was trying to be, you know, the person that was like, no, F this, F that. I just didn't want to. Yeah. I was just like, I'm going to surf. Same thing now. I still deal with it now. When people are like, you're on a longboard, you should be surfing like this. I'm like, you should shut your mouth. Is what you should do. You're just doing what you love. Yeah. And in the way that you want to do it. Yeah. And so, and then I got signed with Roxy for 5 years, and then had a great time. Got to surf and hang out with all my friends. And that was crazy, because at you know, like, with surfing, you always think like, okay, you got to get sponsored at this time. You got to train from 10 to 14 years old. You should be having a sponsor by the time you're 16, and you should be winning contests. You should be doing this. But it was really cool I take pride in this because I was 27 years old when I got signed. And to me, that's, and I'm a longboarder, and that's kind of unheard of. So I had a late start in my career, but I do not regret it at all. The amount of times I was trying to figure out like operations and sales in retail has gotten me so far in life. And I think every kid should do either a service job, whether it's like working in a restaurant or retail, like understanding, communicating, comprehending, like, this person needs this, okay, like, and constantly changing with each person that walks into the store. I think that's so important. So important. Yeah, I agree. I think a customer service job, even working at a restaurant, it teaches you how to be kind to others, or actually really
be disciplined in yourself, not to get mad at others as
Yeah,
well.
patience.
Patience,
Teaches you
yeah,
patience.
yeah,
It's
all of
it's a
that.
very disciplinary type of job where it's like it's not so much like it's like a trade work. You have to weld certain things, you have to build this motor out or whatever, but it's very, you walking in, or actually this is a thing that I saw Kelia posted, and she told me, she was just like, oh, I give you props for doing like retail for all those years, because like I say hi to people when they walk in and they don't even say hi. And I was like, exactly, you can't let that ruin your spirit, because then that doesn't do anything for anyone else that's gonna walk in. Is you hold on to that anger, it's like, all right, well, everyone's gonna have a shit day then. Sorry, I swear, but
no.
everyone's gonna have a crappy day. And and that's the thing, is like retail taught me that no matter who comes in pissed off, raging, you have to keep that calm face and let it pass. So I feel like retail has taught me a lot.
That's cool. It's like you're not forced, but I guess you get into the habit of giving aloha and not expecting anything in return. Like saying hi and not necessarily expecting everyone to say hi or greet you back. But when it is, you're like, okay, cool, they acknowledge me.
Yeah, and it feels good when they do, because you have the opposite ends of the spectrum of people who will tell you literally F off, and ones that'll be like, oh my gosh, how's your day? And you have a conversation, you spark up a conversation, you make a sale, boom, everyone's day is great.
That's cool. That's super cool. Nice. So you got signed 27, and then you started to compete a little bit for 5 years, or just do like ambassador stuff and whatnot. And that's super inspiring, because like you said, it's not very common in the surf world, especially in the longboarding, or especially in the women's longboarding. I guess let me try to explain it in sports terms for the guys out there. So bros, listen up. It's like if Kurt Warner was, finally made it to the NFL when he was a little bit older, and then he got signed with the Rams, or like Alex Pereira finally making it to the UFC when he was in his late 20s or early 30s, and then fought Adesanya and then won the middleweight title. I think that's how I would explain it. Yeah.
Whatever you said. Yep. That's it.
No, there are some athletes who, they start their career a little later.
Yeah.
And still have success.
And what's funny is, like, I feel like the later you can start it, not the later, I shouldn't say that, but for me in particular, starting it later was like a really good thing, because I wouldn't have met the people that I did. And for so long, I used to beat myself up about it. Before I went on that 5-year hiatus, I was just like, I should be here. I should be there. I should be doing this. I should have. It was a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And the second you let yourself sink into that, that's where nothing starts to work. Nothing. Anything that you start dabbling into, it'll fail, because you're so caught up in what could have been, what should have been, what shouldn't have been. It's a really dark place to be. And my therapist she'll always tell me this. This is the one thing I always tell everyone, especially with surf contests, because it happens so fast. You got to just learn from it, move on. Is depression lives in the past and anxiety lives in the future. So you have to stay in the now. Yeah, you can plan for as much as you want for next month. Something could happen, and you can always look back and be like, oh man, I should have caught that wave in that last second, but you didn't. The matter of the fact is, this is where we are now. How are you going to learn from that? And that's what I always tell the people that I coach to, is I know it's hard. Write down what you want to accomplish in this one heat. And while you're there, and it doesn't work for everyone. Everyone is coached and takes in information differently, but it's important to know what the goal is and to try and accomplish it. You're not always going to, but to, like, first heat, I'll tell the girls, like, check off one box on your list. Catch the biggest wave of the heat, check it off. Get the highest score of the heat, check that off. And yeah, so yeah.
That's good. Depression lives in the past, anxiety lives in the future.
Yeah.
Very true. I think that's one of the hardest things for us as humans to master, is being in the present.
It's so
It's
hard.
very difficult.
It's very, very
Mhm.
difficult, especially being in like, for anyone, but especially in an athletic world, it's, you know, I should have done this. I would have got signed, because then you start to spiral, right? Off of that one little thing. Because I lost that heat, I'm like, I didn't get sponsored. Oh my gosh, I didn't win the money. Oh my gosh, I lost my placing. Now I have to requalify. And and a lot of the times people will live in that. I did.
Yeah.
I did for a long time. I was like, I should have done this. I should have done that. I was so good at beating myself up about it that it took a 5-year hiatus to really understand why I was doing it, how it didn't help me, and that how can I pass that on to the next generation to not do that. And if they do, how to get themselves out of it. Because it's not easy. I mean, for the rest of our lives, we're going to struggle with that.
Yeah.
Depending on whether it's doing a podcast or whether it's still competing or surfing for fun. Like there's always going to be that shoulda, coulda, woulda, what if. And it's learning how to deal with it, and the self-talk of like, no, we're going to move on. We're going to learn from it. We're going to just move on. What can I do better next time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. What is your number one advice for being present?
Number one advice for being present.
Mine is just be present.
Just be present. That's a good one. Just be present.
Just be present. It's not that hard.
You know what it is? I'm gonna say this because it's I feel like a lot of people won't say this, is like, I struggle with anxiety. And for me, the things that they teach you is to get in touch with your senses. Look at what you're looking at. Really understand what you're looking at. Okay, I'm looking at that chair. The chair is black. I am touching this. What is this? Rattan?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. I'm touching wood. I'm smelling the fresh air. I'm smelling flowers. Like, I have to. There's been so many times I've had to do that, and especially before a contest, because I start to, during a like before your heat, you're like, you want everything to go perfect, and 0.0000001% it will ever happen. You will lose more than you win.
Yeah,
and that's in life too. You know, you'll get told no more than you get told yes. So it's really getting in touch with your senses and understanding where you are, and just take one step in front of the other. That's like the one thing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, for sharing that. I think, anxiety is something that we all fear. I mean, we all experience on different levels, and we also have anxious moments. And like, for me, the thing that really changed my mindset for anxiety is just flipping it into excitement. Yeah. Because I remember seeing this thing, and I've mentioned it multiple times, is how anxiety, the body, there's no physiological difference in your body, like how you're feeling when you're anxious and when you're excited. The brain reacts in the same way. Yep. But it's just about telling yourself, like, I'm excited, or I'm nervous, or I have anxiety. So ever since I was able to do that, I still get anxious. But then when I'm like, how you say you try to feel everything, you're aware of the senses. Mine is just like, can't think about it, or I'm excited. For example, like, I got somebody coming in and to do a podcast, or I have to do a speech in front of some people. I just tell myself, okay, instead of being like, oh, I'm nervous that I have to go talk in front of everybody, I'm like, I'm so excited that I get to talk in front of everybody. Yeah, it's changing the narrative. Yeah. Changing the narrative. This is so exciting. Is really important. I'm so stoked that I get to share my story instead of like, oh, would they even want to listen to what I'm talking about? Like, stuff like that. So that really helped me. Yeah. Changing the narrative. That's a big one. Yeah. Changing the narrative of like, having to be like, oh man, I should have done this. It's like, what I will do is do this and speak it into existence, like literally do what I'm saying. And understanding, like, for you, or even for me, like in a contest or having to coach or having to speak, I have to tell myself I am human just as everyone else is in this room. They have made mistakes. I have made mistakes. This is a clean slate. And that's the one reminder that I got really good at telling myself was,
because I always exceeded in sports. Like I was, always the fastest runner, or I was quarterback, or I was, at 14, I was already getting invited to longboard professional contests. And not till later on in life, like 26, 27, is when I realized I am human. Sometimes in surfing especially, you get put on a pedestal you're not ready for, or you don't want it. And there was a lot of times I didn't want to be on a pedestal, and I was just like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to have to talk to anyone. I don't want to see anyone. And it's hard. You're in a sport. You're 1% of population that can do this sport. So it comes with a lot of responsibility of sometimes, like before a heat, a kid will come up and want an autograph or say hi. You better take your earmuffs off and you better say hi. Like that type of moment. And it's really compartmentalizing what's happening, what needs to happen, what's coming in that you have no control of. And that's another thing, is you don't have control of the ocean. So you really have to react. And I tell everyone that surfing is a reactive sport. It is not a proactive sport. You are only reacting to what the ocean is allowing you to do. Because you're not going to try and pull into a barrel if there's no barrel.
Oh, unless you're me.
Unless you're Big Wave Dave over there trying to get.
No. What I'm saying is I'm a very proactive kind of surfer, and if I'm going on a wave and there's barely a face, I still try to walk and I fall off, and I also got to tell myself, I gotta take what the wave is giving me.
Yep, exactly.
So I know what you're saying.
The second you try to. You don't respond, you are trying to actively control it, it will kick you off. Yeah. And you know that for sure. I have nose dove, I what we call it, like, you diving for lobsters, huh? Like full on, just head first. Tumbling. I'm pretty sure Matt Coogee has all my wipeouts. Yeah. He has one good one where it's just like, I got whiplash for sure on that. Yeah. But it's because and that's another thing, surfing, you have to be in the moment because it's one thing to look down the line what the wave is offering, but if you're looking too far down the line, you're not looking down or looking at what the wave is allowing you right in front of your face, you're gonna get smashed. Yeah. So being present in that sense of kind of, especially in the water, being reactive to it. Yeah.
And I think surfing is my therapy. It's super therapeutic to me because it's the one of very few times in life where it limits distractions. Yeah. Because you can't bring your phone. You don't want to bring your problems out there. Because when I'm there, I'm looking for the waves. I'm trying to read the ocean, and maybe I'm talking to my friends, but sometimes I'm just kind of just like. I guess in times it's hard to talk with your friend if there's like a lot of waves, right? Yeah. Because you want to really
focus,
pay attention. Yeah. So to me, it's the best thing for me personally with so much going on, and I'm happy you said that it's like a reactive thing because I'm not very good. I've only been surfing for like 2 years maybe.
That's more than most people can say.
Yeah. But I just always try to, because I'm athletic, I'm competitive, I also want to just do the best stuff.
You just want to do.
Yeah.
That's a very athletic mindset. I just want to do.
Just try to do stuff, like try to helicopter when I don't know how to helicopter, like do all kind of random stuff. Matt was there when I hurt myself helicoptering.
Did you?
Yeah, I hurt my ribs. I bruised my ribs. I was out for like 3 months because it's also on the smallest days, right? It was just like a junk day, barely any waves. So we were catching one and we were gonna go eat, and it was just like a super. I don't know even know if it was 1 foot. I was just
Where were you guys at Koalos?
Oh no, rock piles. We usually surf rock pile bowls. So I was just coming in and it was a tiny wave and flipped my board around and tried to do it. And I've only landed a helicopter maybe like once or twice in my life. And then I tried to go around, but it was just not enough force and it got sideways. And then I tried to jump off. And then the board
shotgun straight into your ribs.
The board just flipped over like this. And then I landed on the side. And then that's
Oh.
when, and I thought it was just a small thing, but it ended up getting really bruised, and I was out for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yikes.
that was one of the
Yep.
things. So Matt got some of my wipeouts
See?
too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's funny when he films, he's just like, he's been filming for so long too, like Zeke and all that. He knows like, oh, this is gonna be a bad wave. Like you'll hear his commentary sometimes. He's like, oh, she's about to eat it. Like it's so funny. I'm like, I freaking hate you.
That's funny. Well,
Yeah.
he only surfs with us. He never videos us. But the one thing we know about Matt is he never shares the party waves.
He hates
We're like,
it.
yeah, we're like, if
hates
Matt's going, like he'll just go out. Because usually we surf with our friend Rachel, and sometimes if I see her on a wave, then I'll still go.
Yeah.
But Matt, I'm just like, nope, we can't get in Matt's way.
He's been hanging around too many surfers is what's happening.
So funny. Oh yeah, awesome guy. But going back to like your whole surfing career and all of that, it's so cool that you're still able to incorporate a lot of the things in your life with your career, your passion, your interest, like surfing, and then you still have like the side of all the things that you've learned growing up, like fishing, throwing it, like the video that you did with Kimmy. You're just basically sharing what you learned from when you were a kid, right? And now as an adult, you're like so cool because like I never learned that stuff growing up.
Really?
And I wish I did.
Being on the Big Island?
Yeah, no, well, sports all my life, land sports.
Oh,
like I don't come from a family of watermen.
Yeah.
So my dad was just, football, wrestling growing up.
Gotcha.
And so I did soccer my whole life, did football. I moved to Kaiser my senior year of high school to play football.
Oh, okay.
And so I never surfed for the first time in my life until maybe 21 when I was in college. Like,
so you were here?
Yeah, and never even surfed. Like my friends bodyboarded on the Big Islands, like bodyboarded before, but also never got into that. But surfing, like stand-up surfing, never tried once in my life until I was 21. I was like, I remember going college and I was thinking,
you went to UH?
Yeah, UH. I was like, I've never surfed in my life, and I've lived here my whole life.
Wow.
Yeah, because I would go to places and they, obviously they're like, oh, you're from Hawaii, you surf.
Yeah.
And then
That's
I'll
the
be
first
like,
thing.
no, I actually don't.
You know what? I know a lot of people who don't.
Yeah.
A lot of my friends are like, they don't surf. They like, some of them don't even know how to swim.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy. I'm like,
I don't
guys.
know. I think I've met like maybe one person from Hawaii who doesn't know how to swim, but that's super rare.
It's super rare.
Yeah.
It is rare. They're like the unicorns of Hawaii. But
yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I met people not from here that can't swim, and that makes sense.
Yeah. But here we're surrounded by water.
Yeah.
You're like, huh? What? That's like the first thing
Yeah,
we
yeah,
ever
yeah.
learned as a kid.
I get it if you're not a good swimmer or like you don't surf, but if you can't just
Like tread water, survive.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we were taught as kids. Like my dad used to just throw us in the pool or in the ocean, be like, okay, figure it out.
Yeah.
What's this undertow? Okay, you're getting sucked out. What you gotta do? Like, and I remember I was 5 years old. That was like the first near-death experience was at Pyramid Rocks on base on the east side. And I was kolohe. I was just like, the water. And I ran. And my parents were still setting up on the beach. And my dad knew, like, he has taught me these things since literally I could walk. So I walked in and this set, in my 5 years old, it looked humongous, but it's probably like, 2 feet. And I got swept under and the undertow took me. And I sucked in a bunch of water.
Ooh.
And I remember him running down. He grabbed me and I'm screaming. And he's looking at me and he's just like letting me scream it out. He's like, that's what happens, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. Yeah. Went in, ate a musubi, went right back out.
Yeah, that's how resilient. We're very resilient as kids.
Tough skin, man.
Yeah.
I tell you, tough skin.
I think they say your earliest memories are either traumatic or something else. Because I remember
happiest?
Maybe happiest? Yeah, but I know like trauma is always like an early memory because I have this faint memory of like being on one of the floaties and like I don't know where we're somewhere Big Island. It has like this kind of almost like a fish pond setup where like there's like a lane that goes out to the ocean, but then there's like a little pond and then like a rope or something. I remember like almost getting sucked out,
under,
but then somebody grabbed me and held onto my hand and brought me back. I don't know if it's my brother or something, and I don't even know. I can't even remember how old I was. Like I had to be very young.
Yeah.
But I just remember that.
Yeah.
Because it was a traumatic
Yeah.
experience. Yeah.
Builds character.
Yeah, yeah.
We call it character
Character
building.
building. Yeah,
Character
yeah.
building in Hawaii,
Exactly. That's what they call lickings as well. Yeah.
Lickings.
It's just
They're
character building.
Character building. Seriously. Sometimes like I'm like, I mean, to be honest, sometimes I'm like, oh, I deserve that licking. Like I would mouth off, or my grandma would put chili pepper water in my mouth. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm grateful because I have a pretty high tolerance for hot food now.
Okay.
But
That's so funny. You know that girl Marcela Resentes? You've seen her? She was on a recent episode. She's the one that did the interview with McKenna Maduli.
Yes,
like hot fire gas.
Yeah.
So she was a couple episodes ago, and she was talking about getting chili pepper in her.
Funny.
It's so funny. But her response, I'll show you the reel after. But she was like, "Yeah, I figured out the trick. Like my mom will give me the chili pepper. I just go Irish Spring, just bite them. Or no, so she said, she gave me the soap. She said, I eat that thing, tastes good." And then then she realized that. She gave me the chili pepper. I was like, first time, okay, it's pretty hot. Then I thought about just going to the sugar jar, just putting my whole tongue in the sugar. Oh, it's good like that. No, it don't matter that's your mom's sugar. You just put the whole tongue.
Wow.
That's so funny.
But it works though.
Did you do that before the sugar?
What did I do? No, I'd look for milk, but my grandma used to hide the milk at the very top. And it was always for always talking back. And she would make us sit there on the sink. And she was like, nope, 5 minutes. And as soon as I was done, my dumb idiot brain as a child would go, that wasn't even that bad. That was it. Boom. Freaking yardstick, ruler, slipper, fork, anything. Anything. Just like, what you said? Waba. And I was a kid that got like, it's funny. Like my parents now are just like, you were just resilient. Like your pain tolerance, like even going to the doctor, like getting the needles or whatever, shots and stuff. I would just go, ow. My brother and sister would be screaming bloody murder like they were freaking getting their hand chopped off. And I remember my grandma, I was so much like her. I was so strong-minded that if she told me to do something like, oh, go get the eggs from the chicken coop, but it was too early, and it was like, or pick up the chicken poop and put them in a jar as fertilizer. It was like my grandpa's thing. He like raised chickens. And I would just be like, no, it's too early. Just for that, she would just like, no, go do it. And I'm like, no, it's too early. I don't want to. I was probably one of the only grandkids that would like be like, I was always thinking that's why. And I'd be like, nah, I don't want to. I think if I go at 9 o'clock, in my head, I'm like, if I go at 9 a.m., it would be better because then the chickens would move and then I wouldn't get pecked. So why the hell would I go in the morning? But obviously I didn't say that, but I would just go, no, I don't want to. And I would just, wow, lickings.
Dang.
Yeah.
Do you still have that kind of mindset where, I guess, you don't like being told what to do, or like you like to do it on your own time?
On my own time. I am the person that will go to a dinner and all the friends are driving together, and I'll drive separate because I want to know when I can leave and when I show up. Like,
you don't want to get stuck, yeah.
I don't like getting stuck. Yeah. I hate that. And I think that's like one of the most selfish things about me is that I'm like, no, I'll meet you guys there. And they're like, just jump in the car. We're all going to be like having fun in the car singing. And I'm like, nah, I'm good. Yeah, I just so different in that way.
I think that's totally fine. I've gotten to the point because I've seen so many different personalities and friend groups and friend types that people are just who they are.
Yeah.
And you just gotta accept it.
And I would always be the one that showed up in a separate car.
Yeah.
Like I was just
I don't think that's a problem, because then you realize, like, oh, that's just Megan. Yeah. That's just what she does.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
And it's not like a bad thing, you know? If it's just like, oh, that's Megan, she gets blacked out drunk every Friday, then that's a problem, right?
Yeah.
Or it's like, that's Megan,
I'd be concerned.
She drives.
There'd be a whole other different type of podcast we talking about if that was happening. Oh gosh, I can't even. Oh, I'm one drink and I'm like, okay, I'm done. Yeah, no.
Okay, so before we get into the social media fan questions, I gotta know this very dire question of how did you become a professional auntie? I mean, I can kind of guess with your background and the story that you've been, your life story.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, what's the history of that?
So this was a time when, and I always, when I was younger, my grandma always had kids around. Like she nannied. So we had all my cousins at the house, and I was always the one that was helping her because I always loved, if I wasn't my dad's tail, I was my grandma's tail.
Mhm.
And I always loved like going, and she would gather her bitter melon and her eggplant, and I always wanted to like harvest with her and then cook it and then see the process of that. So I always had that in my and always feeding people.
Mhm.
That's always been my mentality since I was young. So when Kalia was living in California, Sis was living in California at the time, I was also living in California. But I was in San Diego and she was in LA. So from like Thursday to Sunday every week, I would drive up and hang out with her. And she lived with, they called it the dollhouse in Manhattan Beach. And it was her and her other friend, Bruna, and her boyfriend at the time, or her husband now, her boyfriend at the time, Dane. And it was his birthday party. And they all got super wasted. We all got pretty drunk. And the next morning, everyone was starving hungry. And I was like, you know what? I'll just go make beef stew. Because that's going to last forever. And that's the best thing you could eat besides a cheeseburger when you're hungover. So I made a big pot of beef stew. I made like them eggs and bacon and sausage. But for like, I was just like, and Dane was the one, all three of them came up and they're just like, oh, what does that smell? And I was like, oh, I'm making beef stew casually. Just like, they're like, what? Aren't you like, I was like, no, everybody's hungry. And we all had friends over that night too. So like, there was like 10 people staying at the house. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to make 12 eggs. I'm just going to make one big pot of something. And that's where it came out. He was just like, oh, you're such like you're not like a mom, but like you're like an auntie who would like give us lickings for like going out and getting drunk. But then in the morning we get food. Like you're such an auntie.
Yeah. You're the kind like, hey, you was out last night. You look hungover. Here, eat this beef stew. But don't come home.
Don't ever do that again, stupid. Like, yeah, that's exactly where it came from, was that. And that ever since then, it's stuck. And every time, even now to this day, when Dane and Bruna see me, they're like, auntie! And people are like, oh, isn't that like degrading for how old you are? I was like, no, like the sooner I was called auntie, the better. Like,
see, that's how I feel.
In
Uncle
Hawaii,
is like, oh yeah, sign of respect.
You respect me, right? Yeah. If someone's like, oh, auntie, can you help me with that? Like, sure, babe, come, let me help you. Or like, uncle, can you help me? Be like, yeah, come. But like, if say like, even like Kilis, Sophia, all those kids who are basically almost out of teenage years, like they're 19, 20 years old, they better still call me. You know what I mean? Like I have everyone in every range. Like Auntie Tammy will call me Auntie Megs. Uncle Tony will call me Auntie Megs. Like people older than me will call me Auntie Megs because it's just like, it's kind of like my identity now. Like it's just the thing. You
are a professional auntie. Auntie, you're the first professional auntie we've ever had on the podcast.
You see what I mean? Like, you're welcome. No, I'm kidding. But that's what I mean is like, I just, it's always feeding. And then like always, to me, being an auntie is making someone feel at home when they're not home and to teach. Like you can learn, it's funny, right? When you like learn from your parents, you kind of just goes over your head, right? If they tell you to clean the microwave, you look at your parents, you're like, oh, whatever. Like they teach you how to like clean a microwave or cook something. You're like, oh, okay, whatever. It goes right over your head. The second your auntie or uncle taught you, your attention was so on it. Tell me not, right?
Wow, yeah.
Tell me not.
That's so true. Because it's like they're a step away from like that authority figure.
Yeah.
But they're still authority.
Yes. But they're also your friend.
But then, yeah, exactly.
You know, they're also your friend. Like, oh man, okay. Like,
and you feel comfortable talking to them like about boys or girls or whatever it is.
Because then when they, at the time, like when you're talking to your parents, it's always, and not every parent is like this, but you have this like, because they are the authority figure, they have this like natural judgment that they're going to be like, oh, my kid is doing this. My kid is doing that. But when it's talking to an auntie or uncle, it's like you can release that.
Mm-hmm.
And even for me, when the kids are coming to me, like venting to me about something, I can completely take out. I'm not in their everyday life too. So I'm not going to judge you at all because I don't know exactly what you're doing. So yeah, I think being called auntie, being a professional auntie, being called auntie by everyone is like, to me, I'm like, bring it on.
That's awesome.
Some people are like, no, I don't. Oh, don't. She called me auntie. And I was like, yeah, she better call you auntie. She better call me auntie. If not, she can get lickings. And then she can call me auntie.
Yeah, the only time I see it being like that is just from girls who are like younger and they don't, you know, it's the age thing. They're
like an uncle thing. It's always the girls that are like, oh, I don't want to be aged. Be like, listen, I am an 80-year-old woman living in a 32-year-old's heart. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll give you food and also slap you. So you decide which one comes first.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm uncle, but I'm the peaceful uncle.
You're like, okay, everybody's just good. I'm the one that like the auntie that comes in and is like, okay, everybody eat, sit down. What are we doing? Like, and that I love that.
Yeah.
I'm always teaching a kid or whoever something, and that's what really gives me joy in life.
Yeah. I love that. I was the friend because I don't drink, so I was always the friend taking care of people. Yeah, and I would do like the McDonald's pocho platter, late night run, or Taco Bell, 20 tacos, whatever. Bring it to everybody. So yeah, but I don't think I have that like to me, I'm Uncle Kamaka. I take care of you, but I don't have like that. I feel like the Hama status, you know, like because I don't have
a voice thing. I think it's a voice thing.
I have a very like easygoing personality, and I'm not very stern. I'm not like, I wouldn't slap anybody. So you have that like, I'm kind of scared of her, so I respect her. So nobody's afraid of me. That's
it's like a tough love thing, you know? Like,
and I'm just a soft love.
Yeah, see, so that's the difference. You know what it was too? Was I grew up with being like the generation before me, like Khaleesi's mom, Malia, Jen Van Giesen, Jodie Clark, Malia Kalalapa'a, Haunani Kane, like all those girls, they're all older than me, and I was the youngest, so I couldn't drink. So I was naturally their DD to take them everywhere. And then growing up in my generation, or even the younger ones, like Kalia, her brothers, Micah, Isaiah, Seth, I was the oldest, so I had to take care of them too. So there was always this. It was in the middle that I was taking care of the older ones because I was the DD, and then I was taking care of the younger ones because I was the one who had the authority because I was the oldest.
Yeah.
So I was the youngest in one group and the oldest in the other. So I think that's what also really built that auntie thing.
Yeah. So you had to drive the drunk people at one point, and then you had to buy the kids.
Yes,
the alcohol because they couldn't afford it.
Yeah,
or they couldn't. Buy
you know what's funny is if you ask sis Kelia, she'll tell you, she's like, why like how did you guys become best friends? And she would always say in the summertime, oh, we used to get $5 for each of us, and then Megan used to get handed a $20 bill from her dad, so that's why I would stick with her because she would buy the best food. To this day, if you ask her, she will tell you that.
That's an easy way to become a best friend with somebody.
Oh yeah, they knew the $20. I was like, okay, we're all getting me barbecue down in Waikiki. Would get like 3 big plates of kaubi meat john, and we'd all sit on the lawn and just eat all that before we go surf.
Nice.
Yeah,
I've been telling people because we're obsessed with the $20 all you can eat at Gens or Jen's.
What is that?
At Ala Moana Korean barbecue.
There's a $20 all you can eat.
$20 all you
That's
can
so
eat.
BS. No lie.
We went, 20
Wait, is this at like a certain time of the day?
Up until 3 p.m. So that's if you do like a mid-morning surf sesh or like a noon surf sesh, you still make it over there.
Wait, $20 all you can eat?
$20 all you can eat. And
why haven't I known about this?
I'm not joking. They don't promote it, I think. I think you just go and,
now they will.
Yeah.
No, we are.
Yeah, I think at one time I saw the guy Kai Salas over there. I'm pretty sure it's him and his daughter. So I was like, they know.
$20 all you can eat?
I know. That's why I trip.
What time is it?
I trip. Exactly. So
It's
that's
12.
why we know because we do 11:30 podcasts. So sometimes if we get out by like 2-ish or something.
As long as you're in there by before 3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless, you don't want to be that person that shows up at like 2:40 something.
Listen.
Yeah.
I won't get that.
Listen, that's not going to stop me.
I can pound food.
You got to go check it out.
Oh my
And I'm
gosh.
not even like sponsored by them. It's just the best deal that I want everybody to know that.
$20 for all you can eat.
All you can eat. Yes. I mean, there's
Man.
certain like restrictions, but usually you get the brisket or whatever.
Yeah.
And,
What about the kalbi though? Is it kalbi on there?
I think you can get kalbi.
Oh, that kalbi would catch
Yeah.
cracks.
Yeah. I
Catch
know there was like
cracks.
this ginger, honey, soy, something that I liked over there. Pork belly, maybe. Yeah.
Okay, we gotta wrap it up.
Yeah.
We
What
gotta
time
go.
is it? What time
Yeah,
is it?
it's 12:46. We gotta go.
Okay.
Oh God.
Well, we'll take a quick shishi break, and we'll be right back with the social media fan questions, and then we'll wrap up so you could possibly get to the
Heck
KBBQ.
yes.
Yeah. All right.
Right
We'll be
on.
right back. Immerse yourself in the underwater wonders of Hawaii's marine life with Hawaii Ocean Charter's hands-on guided snorkeling tours. Whether it's your first time falling in love with Waikiki or you're rediscovering its beauty just like me, there is no better way to see it than from the ocean. Personally, it was one of the best things I have done this year. I got to snorkel with some turtles and fishes, and I was able to catch the coolest sunset over the water. Conveniently located in Kaka'ako with online booking and live availability, finding the perfect day on the water couldn't be easier with them. Ride in style on their unique and well cared for power catamaran that offers all the amenities you need. Locally owned and operated, their friendly crew lives for sharing their love for the ocean with others. Sunset cruises, guided snorkeling tours, whale and dolphin watching, coastal sightseeing, and fireworks shows are among the tours their guests love the most. Use code KIA50 to get $50 off of your next charter. Are you looking for a game that's guaranteed to make you laugh at your next party? You need to check out Moat Gabs, the newest card game designed right here in Hawaii for locals by locals. Race against the clock as you read seemingly random phrases that sound like gibberish at first, like Pio Gold Mango, or Heat Wood Go, or something like Male Lay Cow Liki Maka, until you figure out the local phrase. Mele Kaliki Maka, Eddie Would Go, and Pickle Mango. Each card has phrases that could be a person, place, or thing, but any local should know them. They just might not understand it at first. Moat Gabs, the fun kind game where you read the gibberish out loud to decode the local phrase. All right, we're back from a quick shishi break. The shaka tea always gets to us.
Yep. Cleansing.
Yeah,
Cleaning us out. The momaki tea.
exactly. All right, so here are the social media fan questions presented by Texaco in Hawaii. First question comes from some random person that I've never heard of named Cliff_Kapono. Probably doesn't even know how to surf. Probably doesn't even have a
literally
PhD.
followed that. I was just like, oh wow, okay. And then you said Cliff_Kapono. I was like, sir, what?
Yeah, we've been trying to schedule one. I think maybe in the next month or something.
Clifford is from Clifford.
From Clifford. Yeah, you know what's really cool is that he speaks Hawaiian now. He learned Hawaiian. So the first time I met him,
he only speaks Hawaiian in his household.
Yeah,
I've been to, because his partner is Haunani Kane, which I also grew up with. They only speak Hawaiian to the kids.
Super cool, yeah. So that's how my upbringing was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like even when we're like out in public, he's like only speaks Hawaiian, which is so cool.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Super cool. And he rips, so.
Yeah, he rips.
Makes him pretty cool. So this question is even cooler because he's asking, why she went hammer?
That is not a question he asked. Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what he said. Why she went hammer?
Are you serious? Let me see.
Yeah. Right at the top, right there.
Why she went hammer? It wasn't even in full English. It's just why she went hammer.
She went hammer.
Why is she a hammer?
It's why she went hammer. Well, you can't ask somebody, why are you a hammer?
Right?
That person is a hammer.
That person's a hammer.
It's either why you went hammer, you use one hammer.
Use one hammer.
Use one hammer.
Use one hammer. Yeah. Why am I a hammer? You know what? I will give it to, I'm a strong believer in you are only as strong as the people you surround yourself with. And I think it's because of that. It's who I surrounded myself with and who I grew up with, having my family, you know, my grandma being the OG hammer, growing up on the beach in Waikiki. We grew up in a metropolitan area, but still like we ran around like it was like back in the day, kind of like we was running through plantations. Like we ran through Waikiki causing havoc and just learning and observing and I guess kind of, just not Not really letting anyone tell me what to do or who I was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because we got a lot of that. Surfing is like, oh, you should be surfing on this. You should be doing this. It's like, I was real good at saying F off and I'm going to do
So
my
you
own
was the
thing.
OG. Who run this beach?
Who run this gouch?
Yeah, who run this Waikiki gouch?
Hammer. Exactly.
Oh, great answer.
I love that Cliff, a literal doctor of the ocean. He's literally Aquaman. Asked me why I'm a hammer.
Why
That is
hammer?
funny.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clifford.
Great question. Yeah.
That is funny.
Yeah, because you're always surrounded by hammers. And if you're wondering why you're not a hammer, your crew's probably all nails.
You better look around. Yeah, your crew's
hanging
all
out with nails. That's why.
Yeah, you better look around, up and down your friends, be like, hey, you better hammer up. Hammer up.
Hammer up, hammer down.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question comes from. You can help me pronounce the last name again. Mama
Culhane.
Culhane.
Yeah.
Culhane. Okay. She says, "How old were you when you shaped your first board? Thanks for being such an inspiration to so many surfers, both short and long."
Oh, how old was I when I shaped
your
my first board?
Yeah.
I think I was in my 20s, like 20. I got dabbling into shaping when I was like 18 because my dad shapes my boards, and I've never ridden anyone else's boards because I am a control freak, and I was just like, shapers would tell me like, you need to be on this board. I'm like, nope. As soon as they would tell me that, I'm like, nope. So my dad learned how to shape boards because he was a carpenter. He like made cabinets and stuff. He was like, oh, this can't be. That's why I'm also a hammer, because my dad was just like, hey, if you want to learn something, put your hands into it, like learn it, you know? Yeah, I think the first board from like really start to finish was when I was like 21, 22.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool. And does he just shape your boards, or he?
No.
Like,
so that's another thing too, is like giving back is a really big thing for my family and I. And so he shapes like for the Menehune Rail Sun contest in Makaha. We've been shaping a board for the winner of longboard. Sometimes we do 1 or 2 boards, but we donate a board to them, and it's always a brand new board.
Awesome.
We shape it and glass it, do all of it. For them, we do the Menehune contest in Haleiwa. We donate a board to that. And like anyone who really wants a board, they'll hit me up or my dad up. Let us know. I'm so serious. Like my dad's retired, so and he's so into one-man canoeing right now.
Okay.
Like Bradaman has 6 canoes and he's
That's
one
so
person.
funny.
But he's either playing music or shaping surfboards or one-man canoeing. So
okay. Cool.
yeah. Let us know.
Well, I just got a new board for Christmas, so whenever.
Okay. We let that one
but
sit.
But it is my birthday in a couple of days.
Okay,
you know?
okay.
And
you better tell Matt Kuji come through.
Oh, I was gonna say, like, I was just thinking you're kind of my new best friend and everything, and like,
oh, that's so nice.
it would be nice if you could come to my birthday party and bring a gift.
Oh, so nice. Oh yeah. I'll buy you a le.
All right.
I'll buy you a kukui nut le.
Okay, auntie. Okay. All right. Next question comes from Tassi Girl. She says, "You fill everyone's cup. Who/what fills yours?"
Tassi, that was really sweet.
Is that Tassi the one from Black Sheep?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's
I thought
her,
so.
yeah.
I thought I just saw the little icon.
Yeah, that's her.
They're on Hawai'i verse on our business, and we did a video with them. With her.
I love them. Her and Joy they're so sweet. Talk about like hammer. She's a hammer. Like she's such an entrepreneurial.
Yeah. And
like,
mother.
And mother. Yeah, which is so cool. What fills my cup?
Who/what fills your cup?
Who/what fills my cup? Hanging out with my grandma and hanging out with my nieces and nephews. That really, really fills my cup. And it's not even like, surfing fills my cup. Like it'll add. But there's something about seeing kids like so happy to see me or like wanting to learn from me,
Mm-hmm.
that to me fills my cup. Especially when like my nephews, like Tahiti and Billy Kemper's kids, Nija, Zaya, Lion and Hayes, like, and even like Kimmy's son, Buddy, like want to learn. And Hayes will, every time he's like, I want to throw a net. And he's so, and that's what fills my cup, is watching a kid learn. I love that. It literally fills my cup up. And I'm like good for like a couple days. I'm like, I am so happy.
The auntie meter.
The human meter comes up. Like, just feels good to like be able to passing down things of what I learned. Because it's like, we're all filled with knowledge, but at the end of the day, what we die with it. What's the point in that? We got to pass it on.
Yeah.
So yeah, passing things on. Amazing. Yeah.
I love that. Okay, and she also follows up with, go to karaoke song, give us a sample.
I can't give you a sample at the moment, right?
No, not sample. Sample.
Yeah. Sample, like pupu para kind.
Yeah.
My go-to karaoke song. Oh man, it's I Want to Dance with Somebody by Whitney Houston. I want to dance with somebody.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that.
Feel the heat with somebody.
that I would have guessed something else. I don't know what I would have guessed, but I just would have guessed something else.
I'm a 90s baby. I will go for Mariah. I can't sing like her, but I don't give shit. That's where the confidence comes in.
Exactly.
It's Mariah, Whitney, Queen Bee will pop on. But Whitney, something about Whitney, because you know why? She touches all, like, if you're sad, you can, you know, sing something sad. If you want happy, you hit I Want to Dance with Somebody.
Yeah.
You know? You want something funky, How Will I Know? We'll hit it, you know? Yeah.
All right. Well, great question, Tassi. Next question comes from Misho Fresh. This person says, her coming out story, rainbow emoji, 3 rainbow emojis, plus heart hands.
My coming out story? I didn't really like, I never really saw it as a coming out story, but it was just more of like who I vibed with, whether it was male or female. I was just more of like, it wasn't anything sexual or physical. It was more of like this sounds so cheesy, but it's like more of like a spiritual kind of thing. And it was not till I was later on, like in my 20s, where I figured out, I was just like, I don't want someone particular. It doesn't have to be a particular race. It doesn't have to be a particular male or female. I just want to be loved by someone and love someone. So it didn't really happen for me till I was like 25, 26, maybe even later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you ever like, I want to guess that you probably didn't care, because you don't care about what people think anyway. So you're just like, this is what it is what I like. Yeah. Of
course there was fears because of the societal standards of like, you know, LGBTQ and all that stuff. But, and that's another thing that like, if someone asks me a question like that, I have no problem answering, because I'm like, yeah, that was my story. Like, whether it was meeting a guy or a girl, I have a girlfriend now. She's a snowboarder. She lives in California. It's also a long distance, but, and it's making it work with who I'm with at the moment. And it's, I would have people kind of like, I never really like came out to my sponsors like about it, but I was just like, you signed me. This is who I am.
For who you are.
For who I am, regardless of what I look like, if I'm yellow, brown, black, white, whatever. If I'm gay, lesbian, bi, whatever it is. It's like, you signed me. So I never really like had the urge or had to like share it or tell my sponsors about it, because it shouldn't change. But I was open with it. Like if like I said, like if they asked me, I'm like, yeah, I'm dating this person. Like, and I'd wait for an answer and they wouldn't. So I was like, okay.
You'll wait for an answer.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, go ahead. Petting my cat. I am Godfather. I'm kidding.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Well, mahalo for sharing.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm sure this person asking because you probably inspire this person.
Yeah, I hope so. You
Mhm.
know, like I just like, and also coming from a culture in Hawaii where it's like, I feel like Hawaiians are so good, or people of Hawaii are really good at embracing who are around. Like, we're never judged if they're a mahu or if they're gay or if they're, you know, whoever they loved. It's just like, when we ask how you're doing, we want to know how you're doing. We're not going to judge it off the base of, oh, what you were hanging out with this person or you're hanging out with that person. It's literally, we connect on a soul level. So I feel like that's why I never had the need to, or felt the need to like have to like explain myself. Because if I had to explain myself to someone, I was like, then you're not meant to be my friend. Like, if you're asking me these questions like that, like, I'm like, why does it matter? Like, I feed you the same way anyone else would feed you, you know, like, or I help you anyone else would help you. So, yeah.
Yeah. I think we have a very accepting culture over here.
Yeah.
In general, to foreigners, visitors, locals.
Yeah.
And especially with like the Hawaiian culture, because there are mahus, and that's like part of the culture, same way like the Samoa, the Fa'afafines.
Yeah. There is mahu kane, mahu wahine, right?
Exactly. And
yeah.
like I swear, every single Hawaiian immersion school, every class, you got one mahu.
Yeah.
I swear to God.
And that's like a part of character building, though. It's like, that's what's in the world. Like, you can't shelter, you know? So, yeah.
Yeah. It's part of life. And so this it's the same thing where we're always talking about Hawaiian this, Hawaiian that, being Hawaiian, what is Aloha, what is being Hawaiian, and being a good whatever is just like being a good human with manners.
Yes.
So no matter what race you are, what ethnicity you are, what your beliefs are, what your sexual orientation is, just to be a good person. Yeah.
Are you a good human? Because at the end of the day, that's what we all are. You were not born from Mars and shot down on a spaceship, and you bleed the same as us. So I think that's why I really appreciate growing up in Hawaii, and really don't take that for granted, because we learned that at such a young age. Yeah.
And after traveling, having conversations, and just being back here for a couple of years, and I'm just like, I don't care if you're 100% Hawaiian, 50% Hawaiian, whatever. If you're just not a good person, you're not a good person.
Yeah.
I don't care.
I'm same.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't care. You could be full whatever. And I'm like,
millions of followers or money or whatever.
And I think that's another thing too, is like, I never, especially in the business that we're in, you know, like freelance and whatever it is, we do. And surfing is a subjective sport. It's based off of someone else's opinion, especially in contests, that you have to have that backbone to be like, understand who you are and be like, this is who the F I am. If you don't like it, then you can leave. But I know I try and better myself throughout life. Like, that's what life is. Like, whether it's always adding. The second you start to minus, especially in like friendships or relationships, the second you start to minus things, that's where you have to reevaluate. Like, do I need to have this person around me? Is this person good for me? But yeah, I feel like if we all saw each other as human first and then added, I think the world would be a much happier place.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Adding, minusing stuff. I never thought of it like that. Okay. Next question comes from Lee Moore. This person says, Megan, you're my inspo for turns. Tips for enthusiastic beginner longboarders. XOXO.
Okay, so if it's like she wants to learn how to turn better. This is my coach brain going in. Like, I'm literally trying to picture of what she looks like surfing.
Yeah. So how tall are you? What do you weigh? What do you ride? What's your setup?
These are the questions you need to ask back.
Are you goofy? Are you regular?
Yeah, exactly. Because I don't know. But like for turns, okay. So for turns, I always
let's use me as an example.
Okay.
So I goofy.
Okay.
6 foot, 175.
Okay.
Does all that matter? Like the way
It does,
okay,
yeah.
Okay. I ride a 9.2
Okay. Single
thruster.
fin?
Thruster set. And my friends keep saying I gotta put a single fin in.
My boy. Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
Don't listen to them.
Yeah.
You're fine.
And it's like a more pintail. Yeah. Oh, hey.
Double tap. Here we go. So for you, if you want to progress with turning, is you have to remember you lead with your shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
So when you and look at where you want to go. And for turns, you have to realize once you get the fundamentals of like the nose needs to go, say, I always tell everyone to find a landmark. Mm-hmm. So for you at like rock piles, your nose, you want to go on the face of the wave, right? So your nose should be facing where the end of the rock pylons are on at the harbor. And then you want to cut back, you turn the nose towards Hilton. Mm-hmm. So it's all about, see, now you...
And what about the foot placement?
Your foot placement, for you, for a thruster, you want to be more back of the board because that's where your control is because if you're in the middle and you're on your pintail, you have to understand that it's all hydrodynamics, right? So if there's more weight in the back, you're going to create less speed. But that's what you want, to have speed, and then as you're turning, you want to create that motion of less speed when you're turning, but you have to start with speed first, right? Yeah. If you're standing still, you're not. But it's also realizing where to do it on the wave. I know that. Reacting to it. Like if you, like I said, if you're trying to hang 10 when there's no face, you're gonna end up trying to pick lobsters at the bottom of the ocean.
That's what I say. I say my motto is toes to the nose, face to the water.
Face to the water. I've never heard that one. That's really good, actually.
That's very specific to me.
Toes to the nose, face in the water.
Yeah, because I say I can get to the nose all the time. I just can't stay there.
Okay, so that's hydrodynamics. You have to figure out. So you have to find a high line because if you're down here, right, you're in the flats. There's nothing to carry you. So you need the speed and the. I like to tell everyone that there's like an air pocket. Imagine there's an air pocket underneath the nose. Where is there going to be the most air? If the wave is like this, right? If I'm down here, there's no air. Yeah. If I'm up here, there's air because the wave comes in at a curl. So you want a higher line.
This is good because I've never learned. I mean, or like
no one's ever broken it. Broken it down.
I just go and follow to do what I see.
Yeah, but try it. Try find the higher line and then walk. Yeah, and it's gonna feel very unsturdy. It's gonna feel very weird and unsturdy, but that's because there's air underneath the board. You don't have a flat surface of ocean to make you stabilize, so you're basically walking on a tightrope. So you have to think of it like that. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try. But I see your gears turning. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
I'm trying to picture. It is easier with better waves.
Yes,
because I haven't surfed really good waves.
That also helps a lot.
I've gotten pretty close, at least like cheater 5 kind. But yeah, it just depends. But mine is not really. Well, I would say my board's not really like meant to nose ride kind. Yeah, but people would say
it is harder on the high performance boards, but it's not impossible.
Yeah. I feel like it would just make it easier if I do switch to like a single fin, more of a nose rider, like a log.
Yeah, you can stay there. Yeah, you'll be able to stay on the nose longer, but anything else, it's like your timing has to be your window is a lot smaller. Okay. In my eyes. Yeah. Yeah. That's why I ride a 2+1. Yeah. Yeah. And
I see some of it. The turns you guys do is crazy. I just saw a clip. I think it was like Instagram, whatever. You were going down and then you like
oh, I like sprayed the camera?
No. I'm trying to think where it was. I think you were going this way. And then, but you turn like you did like a 360.
A tail 360?
I think so. I don't know.
Oh, was it a purple board? I was in a white and black stripe?
I think so. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Look, I'm so interested to which one you're talking about.
Because I
did a full rotation. So I was like, the wave is here and I came.
Yeah, so
rode
sick.
It up and then came around.
Was it this one? No. But yeah, see that stuff. It's so sick. Like that's kind of my where I would love
That's
to
where
be.
that's where you want it to be.
Yeah.
Sure, wait.
It was it. I know. We're just looking at surf clips
Sorry, I
now.
have a lot to edit out.
Oh, nice. Oh, where is it though? I like this one.
Oh yeah, that was at Haliva. That was fun.
Oh, where was it? Was it this one? I think.
I feel like I know which one you're talking about.
Because I think you went. It was like a revert. Like you went the opposite way of what I would have thought, or maybe I'm just thinking that in my mind.
Like I spun the board around, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, let me see.
Was that in Kimmy's video? Was there clips of you surfing in Kimmy's video? Or?
There was some, but I think I know which one I went to. It was in Australia. I think you're talking about the Australia one.
Yeah, maybe.
Almost certain that's the one you're talking about. Where is it? This one.
Let me see. Yeah, that one.
That's a Tail 360. So I'm literally using the wave. I'm just using the wave, like, oh shit.
Okay, yeah. So you're going right.
Yeah, so
okay,
I'm going right, and I'm just lifting the board up onto the lip, and then letting it take me down.
Yeah, but to have that balance too.
You gotta like, really, you gotta let the wave do the work.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Will the camera be able to see it if she puts it up to the camera?
Yeah, I think so. Which one am I looking at?
Yeah, maybe try that one.
That one? This one?
Yeah, look how cool this looks. Boom.
You know what's the best part is I'm one of the only females that can do that.
Really?
Female longboarders, yeah.
Yeah.
I take great pride in that because I've tried to get people to do it and they can't.
Yeah.
And you know, the first one I ever did was in front of Sis in Kelia.
Really?
Yeah, Kelia. We were in Waikiki and I did one. And I was just as baffled as her, but I tried to keep my composure. And I was just like, oh, that was sick. That was sick. And she was right behind me. She was like, holy crap, you just landed it. I think I was like 14 or 15. Yeah. So that was fun.
Yeah. Sometimes I like imagine myself like doing that, like going down the line, like, you know, get up, do like little turn like that, going left. And then I see the wave about to like close out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I hit it. Or even like just doing a floater.
Yeah.
And like in my mind, I'm just like, and then, but in real life, it's like,
in real life,
like
but in your head, you're like, oh, I just did the sickest air reverse.
Yeah.
I do that still to this day.
But every time I can't turn like, I can get speed, and if I go there, then I get kind of like, I don't know how to like spin the board or.
It's the high line.
Yeah.
You can't do it from below. Because you have to think it only works when there's less board in the water.
Mm-hmm.
So, because if there's too much board in the water, you're gonna drag.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna be able to pop up. So, you have to be here. Say this is the wave, right? The curl of the wave. You can't do it from down here unless you have so much speed and it's a huge wave, and you come up and use the momentum, the force, like the G force to swing you around. But this one is basically, imagine you popping the front half of the board onto the lip, and then you're using the momentum of the wave to push you down and spin it, because the fins will catch, and that's what spins it around. Yeah, kind of like when you do a helicopter. Yeah, same thing. Okay, it's a lot of physics in surfing that people don't understand. I gotta surf bigger waves too, I think. I'm trying these things on like it's possible, but you need like big waves. I mean, summer's coming up, and you're goofy foot, so bowls or like kiwalos. Yeah, I'm excited. The other thing I gotta get better on my backside turns, or going right. I'm like 95% left. I mean, I've been doing this since I was a baby. I will only go right. Yeah. I when we had a contest in lefts, I was the kid that went right. It was a left point break, and I went right into the rocks because I was just like, I hate it here. I want to go right. Yeah. But I've got my new board. It's easier to turn. Yeah. So like I don't mind. If it's a 9-1, who made it? 9-2. It's a Minami. Okay. Minami. Yeah, those are high performance boards. Yeah. So it did make. I don't mind going right now. You know what it is too that people forget, that you have to, the speed in the wave is in a certain spot. So if you're in the flats, you're not going to pick up speed. If you're too high, you're going to get kicked off, right? So it's always in this sweet spot in the middle of the wave. That's where you want to be turning. That's where you want to be driving your speed. And then when you do turn, A lot of people have the problem of turning too early.
Mm-hmm.
You want to turn at the top of the wave because that's what the force will to actually bring you around.
So it's almost like you're dropping back.
Yeah.
in.
But now you're doing the motion of looking behind your shoulder to do a roundhouse or a cutback.
Yeah. I like to. I force too many things. That's something I'm.
You're a doer. You're an athlete. That's the thing. You're an athlete.
Yeah, the kind even like I see somebody in front of me, they like, I sound like I'm gonna do that, and then I get really excited, like, and then I try to like whip it, and then I just fly right off the board.
Yeah. See, because you're trying to control.
Exactly. I gotta give up control.
It's a control thing.
I gotta give up control.
Yeah.
All right. Well, mahalo for the lessons or the tips. Hopefully that works for you too. Any more?
I'll send you an invoice request.
Invoice the kind media.
I just kidding. I just kidding.
Mahalo. Okay. Next question comes from Kirsten_in_Monterey. This person says, do you ever experience shame? And if so, how do you deal with it?
Do I ever experience shame, sister? Yeah. I mean, I'm in the sport of, like I said, subjective sport where we are advancing from a score based off of someone else's opinion. Yeah, we can have like certain categories we have to meet, like speed and the size of the wave, where we're doing the maneuver, the risk of it and all that. But yeah, I dealt with a lot of shame. Losing contests was the most, probably to me growing up, was the most shameful thing because that was my career, you know? But understanding, really, really understanding that you are human, and in a sport like ours, you are going to lose a lot more than you win. You will fall more than you'll stand. Believe it or not, in surfing, you are going to fall more than you stand. And I think in life, that's really something that I take in with me is that I'm going to fail at a lot of things, but I always have to keep one foot in front of the other. And having a really good support group, having really good friends behind your back is a really big thing. And the only way to make friends is to be a good person and have good people. To have good people around you, you have to be a good person. So I think that's the root of it, is to have a good support, understanding who you are, and really let the shame pass through your body. Don't try and fight it. Be shameful, but know how to get out and really tell yourself, I am human. There are going to be moments in time in life that are going to be shameful, or going to be embarrassing, that are, you know, and really coming to terms with that, but moving on from it. I always tell like the people like Sophia, who I coach for WSL, I'll tell her, like, if you lose a heat, I want you to feel the loss. Don't be like, oh yeah, happy-go-lucky. If that's not your nature, feel the loss. Cry it out, whatever it is. Just don't stay there. That's the one thing.
That's good life advice too.
Yeah.
You can get angry, just let it pass.
Yeah, let it pass. Don't stay there. Because the second you stay there, like I said, you are nothing you put your front foot forward in will ever succeed. So yeah. Awesome.
Well, great advice. Mahalo.
That was a super auntie advice.
I know.
That was so auntie just now.
And then for those who aren't watching, you're just listening, she followed up with she put her hand up.
I put my hand up and I squared up. I was ready to do 1-2 kahalu special. You know? Soup, bruh.
Okay. Next question comes from Jenny Makes Aloha. This person says, what's your middle name? Laughing emoji.
Jennifer. This is who I was talking about. She was the older person in the group. Older group. Jennifer Van Giesen. What is my middle name? I can't believe she asked that. Talk about shame. No, I'm kidding. It's not shameful. I'm really proud of it. It's my great-grandmother's name. It's Francisca.
Francisca.
Oh,
okay.
So when, you know, Kalia was also, we call Kalia, like, and I will tease each other and call each other by our middle names. And even Jen, she'll be like, Franny. And I refuse to answer that. But I have. But
Francisca.
yeah, Francisca. And
then
like,
she calls
Franny.
you Franny.
Yeah. I'm like,
that sounds a lot more older.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, Franny.
I'm like, what the heck? But yeah.
Francisca. Okay.
Francisca.
So Megan Francisca Godinez.
Yeah, I sound so. Yeah, I sound like I
in Zorro. Or
Zorro.
something,
Yeah, I feel like I'm like a matador.
Yeah. Introducing Megan Francisca Godinez.
Tell me not. I would whoop some bulls' ass.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, you would.
I would.
Yeah.
In my tight their freaking whatever their outfit is.
Yeah, and with your Romas.
Hell yeah. I would freaking roll around with some bulls in that.
Yeah.
For sure.
She follows up.
Yeah.
What was one of your nicknames growing up?
What was one of my nicknames?
Growing up.
Jen asked that?
Yeah, Jen.
I'm trying to think of like if this is a trick question.
Is she's trying to get something?
Yeah,
out of you?
wait. What was one of my nicknames?
Franny, maybe?
One of them was Hammer for sure.
Oh, okay.
Growing up, but another one was I don't even know if I can say this, but this is so funny. In her phone specifically, she calls me Schlong Dick Dong.
Schlong Dick Dong?
Schlong Dick Dong. It's because she always tells me, she's like, God, you have BDE. You know what BDE is? Yeah. She was like, wow, you have such big dick energy. Like, so in her phone, it's it's my face and an eggplant emoji and my name. When I call her, it's Schlong Dick Dong. So I hope that answered your question, Jennifer.
Great question, Jennifer.
So
okay, but she has a last one. If you could meet anyone in the world, passed away or alive, who would it be?
One person?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Anyone in the world.
I mean, because she answered it. I mean, because she asked that question, I would want to meet Rail's son, Auntie Rail. Auntie Rail, like what's cool is like what Auntie Rail was to her, she was for me. So talk about like lineage and passing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would want to meet Rail's son, Auntie Rail.
Cool.
Yeah.
And what they are, what she was to her, she is to you. You're gonna be like that to somebody else.
Yeah, exactly.
That's awesome.
And that's the point in life, I feel like. Pass it down.
Yes, I love that. Next question comes from Jasmine Lee CF. This is an old friend. How's it going? She says, how can I be one surfer banga like you? How
come everyone
You're
says I'm a
such an
banga? What's
inspiration
happening?
for female surfers.
How can I be?
Yeah,
what's the short? Own who you are. Be yourself. And if anyone tells you different, you can tell them, I'm going to say this, you can tell them to fuck off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Say it, look in the camera and say it one more time.
To be in Hama and to be who you have to really accept who you are, be grateful for who you are, and if anyone tells you different, you tell them fuck off.
Period.
When freaking backhand. Okay, and if the backhand doesn't work, then you give him the 1-2 buckle my shoe.
Oh,
if not, just grab a slipper and fly it at them.
Okay, that
works too. You know.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking the backhand, then you go return to sender, and then you do the backhand again.
Oh, all day long. Ba 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 ba. Yep.
You know, like that thing. Just do that with the.
And then you ask them. You tell them, "Fuck off. What's for lunch?" You tell them, "Chicken noodle soup. Soup." Okay, that's what you tell them.
I like that. That sounds way better than. Are you hungry for a knuckle sandwich?
Oh God! If anyone told me that, I'd laugh. I'd be like, "Please, I would love to see this knuckle sandwich."
The chicken noodle soup one is a lot
I'd be like,
better.
"What's for lunch? Chicken noodle soup. Soup."
Yeah. Because that one they could be like chicken noodle soup, and then they're like soup.
Yeah, you catch them off guard.
Exactly.
You get them, you pull some moves on them.
Or like
you got to keep
Coach.
everybody on their toes.
Yeah. The next question comes from Kaivaki Kahapono. I think that's the name. What does Swapa season mean to you?
It's Shwapa.
Okay.
Shwapa season means to me. I know exactly who that is too. His last name's Foster. They're like family. Their family's so big in Haliva. They like are all Hamas. Talk about Hamas. Like. He's a hammer.
Right on.
Shwapa season means to me is looking for a lip to hit.
Shwapa.
Yeah, shwapa. If no more lip, you're not gonna hit him, right?
Yeah,
then it's like, okay, the season never start. But Haliva, on a good like 6 to 8 foot day, looking for the lip to hit. Shwapa.
Okay.
It's the sound effect. If you don't make the sound effect, it doesn't work.
Do you have
Like,
to
when
like
you
raise
go-
your voice high, like shwapa? Or is that too high? Or is it more like
Yeah, shwapa.
shwapa?
Yeah, you gotta do them fast,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
karate kind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
okay,
like,
okay,
shwapa.
okay. And then you bow at the
Yeah, and then you bow at that. You say, okay, mahalo ocean.
Yeah.
And then that's it. And then you catch another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shwapa.
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 Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna be thinking about that when I surf.
Every
next.
time you hit the lip, I
On my
need
little
to know.
town 2 foot
I'm gonna
footer.
text you, bro. I'm gonna
Yeah.
text you and be like, hey, did you shwapa today or what?
Yeah. But my shwapa is gonna be like this. My board goes this way and me going this way.
It doesn't matter as long as you shwapa
As long-
something.
do you
know what
say
I
it
mean?
out loud or is it just like you're thinking about it?
You know what's funny? I do sometimes.
Okay, okay.
And I own it. I own it. If I know I'm gonna hit this lip to get myself pumped up, I'll say shwapa.
Shwapa. Okay.
Shwapa. I'm pretty sure he's asking that because he's probably heard me say that.
Yeah.
Guarantee.
Yeah. Do you say things to yourself when you're surfing?
You know what I do all is when I'm paddling for a wave and it's a pretty decent, scary drop. At the bottom of it, I'll go, yes, sir. I'll get down, and then if I do like a really big off the lip, like I'm floatering and then I airdrop down,
Mhm.
I'll go bomber. Yeah.
Do people
I
hear
just-
it?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
100%. And that's why like, and it's funny, like especially at Haliba. It always happens at Haliba. But I pulled into a barrel one time and I was just like, I claimed it because I was just like, it's been a while since I got a barrel. So I was like, oh, yes. Shit. And I just like chee-hooed really loud. And then all the kids come up to me like, oh, auntie, that was sick. We never know you could do that. And I like, for a split second, I was like almost offended. And I was like, what you mean you never know I could do that? What you mean by that? They're like, oh, auntie, that was so sick. That's the only barrel we saw today. And I said, okay, I was just checking where your mind was at, because if not, you was about to get
You was about
soup,
to
soup.
eat chicken noodle soup.
You
for
was about
lunch.
to hand you chicken noodle soup, boy. Yeah.
That's funny. Okay. So swapa, shwapa.
Shwapa.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Last question comes from Godinez.rex.
My father.
Mm-hmm. He says, now that you are building boards, what is the most challenging part of the whole process?
Oh, he knows too, because he's in the shaping room with me.
Mhm.
I'm like crazy in the shaping room. The hardest one, freaking rails, doing the rails,
Mhm.
trying to get the perfect rollover of
Mhm.
rails, and like not for it to be like 50-50, or I like the tuck rails, so I like to do like 60 rollover and then 40 tucked under. It's the rails. It's trying to like, you really have to, it's very meticulous. That's the one thing where I would surfboard shaping, the second you go over, you kind of add, right?
Mhm.
Same thing like with cooking. If you
Mhm.
put too much salt, you kind of take out, right?
Mhm.
So that's the one thing, is like going back and forth and making sure everything is just all even. So it's, yeah, probably doing the rails. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it.
So if you go too much, then you just gotta go to the other side to go more
yeah,
down.
that's the thing,
Yeah.
is because the rails is the only thing that is supposed to be a pair and supposed to match, right? So that's why it's the hardest part, because if one rail is sharper than the other, you gotta dull the other side or make the other side sharper, and at that point you're shaving off foam.
Mhm.
So your board's getting thinner and thinner and thinner. I've done a board where I was like, oh shoot, it's too thin on this side, or it's too thick on this side. Oh, I gotta shave it down. Oh shoot, I did it too much. Now I gotta thin it down. I shaved down the board, the foam, to like literally an inch. I couldn't even do anything with it. Like I ended up cutting a bunch of it and making like pipo boards or something, because I was just like, I can't add, like I just ruined this. Or we made it into a shortboard or something.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So the rails.
How long does it take to make a longboard from start to finish?
For my father, he can do that in 3 days.
Wow.
He can shape.
How many hours in a day? So if he's like 8 hours today, 8 hours tomorrow, 8 hours the next day or something like
No,
that?
not even. He can shape a board. He can shape it from when you get the full blank to the dimensions you want it to. Just the foam. He can do that in probably like 2 hours. if I say anything over, he'll probably comment and be like, no, I can do it faster. He's so competitive, Kathy, when it comes to that. But yeah, he can do shaping in 2 hours. The thing with glassing that takes longer is because you have to let the resin cure.
Mhm.
So that alone, I ride EPS, so the resin cures a lot faster. I think for the glassing process, that's the longest part, is the 2 days, because you have to wait and let it cure and let it sit and then grind away, sand and all that stuff. So yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And does he like do designs or
Yeah,
paints,
that's
stuff
why
like that?
I like glassing, is because to me the shaping the foam part, all my shaper friends are about to come at me. They're like, what, glassing is the hardest part? I like glassing because, one, it is pressured because you catalyze it, and it does, you are on a time limit. If you don't get that resin on quick, it's just going to start to harden and you're screwed. So, but it's the part where it's the most artistic side, because I like to play with the colors and the tint and the pigment and all that stuff. So that's the part I love, is like mixing in a pigment into the resin and being like, oh, is this red enough? No, I'm going to add a little bit more of this, a little bit more of that. And it's such an instant gratification when you can pour the resin and like have it like glass off and all that stuff. So it's very like Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
That's the part I like.
That's cool. I can see that too.
The glassing, the artistic side.
Anything with like resin too, just like resin art. It's so cool.
It's so fun.
Yeah.
My dad he doesn't hate it. He's really good at it, but he's just like, oh, I want to do something that's like artistic, and he's just like, no, that's gonna take too much time. I just like get the board down. I'm like, no, but it's not gonna be pretty. I want it pretty. So yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, mahalo everybody for the social media fan questions. Make sure you leave some for our next guest, and maybe a question will make it on the podcast. So we're coming to the back end of the episode, and I like to ask all of my guests the same question at this point. What does keeping it aloha mean to them? In your life, how do you keep it aloha?
Paying it forward is to, if I am able to do it and I'm willing to do it, I'm going to do it. Like if I'm able to help a friend, and that's the thing, is like everyone's like, oh, I got to drive so far. We live in an island. Okay, they're not asking me to drive to freaking New York from Arizona. Like, yeah, of course I'm going to drive to the North Shore and watch the kids or something, or try to. But keeping it aloha is to pay it forward to anyone who's willing to learn and to pass down knowledge. That's my thing.
Yeah, and I guess it goes hand in hand with what you're doing now is coaching. Yeah.
Coaching is I have all this, I'm not the best surfer in the world. I'm not a world champ. I don't have crazy accolades, but yeah, I've won heats, I've won contests, and I just want to be able to pass that down to the next generation. And even if it's people who are trying to get into it later on in life, is to take the knowledge that I know and spread it to them. But the one thing I always tell them is, if I'm teaching you this, you now hold the responsibility to teach it to someone else. And whatever it may be, if it's teaching them in the exact way I taught you, or playing with it and teaching them something, the same concept, but in a different way. So yeah, I think that's definitely keeping it aloha, is being able to pay it forward to the kids.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's a certain pressure when you acquire a certain amount of knowledge, or even, for example, like in Hawaiian language, where we were taught this from a young age and it's not very abundant. It's not a language that everybody knows. So where else, there's that kuleana, that responsibility to pass it on to the next generation. Like if I have kids, I have to speak Hawaiian to them, like how Cliff and Honani do. Do you feel pressure, like you need to do these things, or
no? I don't ever feel the need to, but I feel like it's because that is what fills my cup. Is I don't have the need. There's never that feeling of needing to do that. Like I have this, of course, if I'm coaching for like, Carissa's More Aloha mentorship program, I'm mentoring them and I only have a certain amount of weeks to do it. I do have that pressure. It's because I want them to intake as much as I can give them. Like I really regardless if it's like, yeah, usually the sessions, it'll say like, oh, we'll do it in like 2 hours. I can guarantee you every session that we've done in those 6 weeks program has been more than like 4 hours, because I want to do it, not because anyone's telling me to, but I hold that responsibility. It's not really a pressure. I don't see it as a pressure. I mean, I know a lot of people will see it as a pressure, but it all comes from being comfortable with who you are. And when I am teaching someone, I am listening to them as well. They're also teaching me how they want to be taught. So I think that's really important too, is to also, as much as I'm giving, I also have to be listening. Yeah.
Awesome. So how did you get into coaching?
Well, when I was on and off the tour, the longboard tour, and I was just like, I don't know. I started coaching boxing actually at my friend Tahiti's gym because it was COVID. And I was just like, well, I need to like stay active and do stuff. And then I ended up getting like USA Boxing certified online, and I started coaching boxing. And then someone was just like, why don't you coach surfing? And I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like, no one's really asked me. And then come to find out, the person who asked me had like a roster of kids who wanted to learn and adults too. And I kind of dabbled into it. I kind of took them, and then I found a real passion for it in teaching. And it also helps that my sister and my mom are teachers. So I feel like that's always been kind of our thing, is like teaching. And then I got real serious last year when Sophia Cohane asked me to coach her for the WSL tour. And her goal was to be the youngest world champion, longboard champion, or youngest world champ. And she came pretty close.
How old is she?
She was 17 at the time.
Oh, okay.
And she was going up against, I think she was the youngest, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, she was the youngest. And watching her grow is when I was like, oh, I could really do coaching. Watching people progress was like my favorite thing to see. Is like people growing and being like, oh, what I said to you, or not even certain things that I've said, but watching them learn something and then putting it into their everyday life or into a heat was really exciting for me. And I found the thrill in that. That was like my high. Like I was like, oh my gosh, you're retaining information. This feels so cool. Yeah. And then Sophia, I wasn't there, but she was in El Salvador, and she had like the worst time, because when she landed, her boards were destroyed. Like her tail was destroyed, her 2 brand new longboards. And it was, and time difference, but I was on the phone with her every day checking, like, how are you doing? Like, and I didn't even care about the surfing part at that point. I was like, how are you? Are you okay? Like, I want to make sure you're mentally okay. I feel like sometimes with athletes, that's the last thing you ever think of, right? Like, you are an athlete too, right? You don't ever getting hit in the head during football. You never realize like, oh, I kind of feel dizzy. I'm fine.
Shake them off.
Shake it off, right? That's also our mentality, like our generation too, right? And I said, this is life. It's gonna throw you these crazy ups and downs, but you have to stay center. Like, what's gonna help you? And she was just like, I need to surf. I need to ride on this board and this and that. I said, well, here's what you can control. How are you surfing? What are you surfing on? Okay, take that board out, and the first 2 waves, I want you to do absolutely nothing. On that wave, you're going to have the urge to hang 5. You're going to have the urge to want to roundhouse. You're going to have the urge to hang 10. I want you to do nothing. I want you to catch the wave and just surf it. Just ride the wave. I said, the second you can figure out that you are riding a wave, that's when I want you to add. Okay, this section, let me add a nose ride. Okay, let me walk back. Okay, this section I can actually turn. Let me add a roundhouse, or let me add a cut back. And she ended up winning the contest. Wow. Her first longboard event, her first CT event, which was super sick. And I think the balance of life and surfing coaching, it really goes hand in hand in adding. How do I add to my life?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is subtracting. Okay, that's not making me happy. How can what do I need to change? What narrative do I need to change? What do I physically need to change? So yeah, I think that's why I fell in love with coaching, was it because it went hand in hand with the lifestyle that I live and loving to teach anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. And it's interesting because the way that you learned growing up was a lot of just like makahana ka'ike and doing, you learn, you just watch, observe,
Yeah,
you
and
the
trial
tail,
and error.
and then you just did it. But now you're like giving you people actually have almost like a playbook of what
Yeah.
to do, you know, and like kids are progressing way quicker these days, especially in sports, just because there's millions of videos, there's all these resources, where you was just like, I'll figure it out as I go, or it's just like maybe you had some mentors. But even outside of surfing as well, like everything else that you did was just kind of just like doing it and figuring it out.
Yeah. And
So-
but that's the thing is like, I remember the hardships of it and being like so frustrated. And that's why I tell everyone to really let yourself feel the frustration, but don't stay there. Let me help you turn that around with what I know. It might not work. It might work. But this is literally what happened to you is what happened to me. I've had boards destroyed. I still had to surf. You know, so what I've got in life and what I've learned, or what mistakes or lessons that I've learned, I want to be able to teach them that, so that they don't have to sit in that turmoil kind of feel. And it's, some people would be like, oh, you're spoiling them or whatever. It's just like, no, I'm teaching them. I'm not handing them a trophy.
Yeah.
I'm teaching them. So yeah.
Same
thing with fishing.
It goes back to that saying that we said in the beginning.
What? Which one?
You give a man a fish, he eats for one day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Same thing. Goes
With the
back to
surfing
fishing.
and-
Like with Hayes, like Tahiti's son, he'll be like, oh, I didn't catch anything. Blah, 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 blah. Like, I'm like, okay, well, what are you doing wrong? Oh, you running up to the beach, you scaring the fish away. What are you gonna change? Boom, his kid's throwing on piles of a hole now, and he's 8, 9.
Wow, that's awesome.
And I'm like, this kid is crazy. He shot his first, he 3-pronged, and he's so tiny. He was like 4 at the time. He couldn't dive down because he was a kid, right? So I had to, literally, people on the beach probably thought it looked like I was drowning him, but I shoved him down to the bottom and he shot his first panini.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's just that challenge in life, right? Like learning, like, okay, he's a kid, he can't hold his breath. Okay, well, let me help you, push you down, and then shoot your fish.
You just need an extra push sometimes.
Yeah, that's
sometimes
literally what it is.
A push.
Yeah, literally a shove down. Yeah.
Oh, that's super cool.
Yeah.
Where do you get all this confidence from? And I know everybody has their insecurities. Growing up, we have many insecurities, especially about our cultural identity. Growing up here and comparing our lives to everybody, but you just seem very headstrong, very confident. How do you get to that point, and like what were the challenges that you needed to face to get to where you are today?
Really being okay with myself. Really taking the time to learn who I am, but understanding that it is a constantly learning thing. And just owning who I am, really, like being comfortable. I think it's because it comes from being told no a lot, being younger. Because I didn't look like this. I wasn't blonde. Not saying that was like only what they look for, but I didn't have a big name in surfing. My family didn't really come from surfing. It was, no one wanted to sponsor me because I didn't surf a certain way. I didn't look a certain way. In that time I was like, when I was younger, I was like depressed because it was so sad to be told that at such a young age. But then after that, like learning at really embracing the things I was good at, surfing, backstock. I was really good at backstock. And freaking, let me tell you, if a box was missing, I was gonna find it. But yeah, I think being told no a lot helped the confidence, because to me, being told no was hitting, it felt like rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But when you hit rock bottom, the only way is up, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like being told no a lot growing up helped a lot with confidence.
Nice. That's why
Yeah.
people need to struggle.
Yeah, it's true. And kids need to get told no.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
We just can't enable them.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like, they got to earn it.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. It was earning things.
Yeah, that's
like,
what I was thinking. With your whole life, you worked for it and you earned it. It's so much sweeter when you know that you put in the work to get to it.
Yeah.
It wasn't handed to you. And that makes you confident because it makes you confident in your abilities to do things.
If someone asks me to do something, I will say, if they're hey, go out there and go throw net.
Mm-hmm.
I can say yes because I had to pay. I paid taxes. I still have scars from when I was a kid. I ate shit on the rocks.
I saw you paid your dues in the
saw that
Kimmy video.
A couple of them, I was like, well, I might have needed a stitch, but nah, we're fine.
I saw that wave come over when you were on the rock. Talk
about barrel. I got barreled that day and slid down.
I know.
Literal rocks that looked like fingers.
It was still landed on the feet.
It wasn't like pohoi rocks. It was
the
that's
why it's named
yeah. Oh yeah. So I mean, and it's just paying the dues, dues and paying it forward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Nice.
Getting told no, getting lickings, built confidence, being shown tough love and soft love.
Yeah. That's a good balance. Mm-hmm. Did culture play a part in any of this of your upbringing? How much did culture affect you?
It only affected me when I left Hawaii to surf. Because it was really cool when people they're like, yeah, Hawaii, yeah, that country's so sick. And to hear, the first time I heard it, I was just like, that country? What do you mean? We're part of
a state, yeah.
Yeah, we're a state. Like, what? But people really still think that.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was a pressure I felt. I was just like, oh God, it's for our country. But it was more for the people back here that, and some people did put a really hard pressure on me. But at the same time, I found the balance in surrounding myself with friends that literally just were like, just have fun. Mm-hmm. Who cares? And my parents were the same. They're just like, have fun. Don't be freaking doing something that makes you so miserable that you don't ever want to do anything. Mm-hmm. There's no point in that. But the culture part, not really. I don't think so.
Yeah. I feel like you're somebody who was surrounded with so much skills and these trade skills and culture, local host culture.
Yeah.
That you don't really think about it. So, because same when I ask some of these surfers about feeling Hawaiian or being because surfing it's a very Hawaiian thing to do, but they don't think about it because they're ingrained in it.
Yeah.
So I feel like you probably come from that same upbringing where you're not really thinking too much about it because it's oh, what is a normal childhood? Oh, fishing, diving, doing all the things that you did.
Yeah.
Surfing.
And you don't really even think that it's a part of the culture. It was just part of being raised as
just
human
life.
that we are. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I feel like I never really struggled with that part.
So when you leave, you're not thinking oh, I gotta represent Hawaii or this certain ethnicity, or just I'm gonna do my life and however people perceive me, that's what they're gonna think. Oh wow, that's a solid Hawaii person, or that's a Filipino or a Latina or whatever how they view you, whatever. And but then you're just not worried about what they're thinking. You're just living your life. So that's how I see.
Yeah, some people are just oh, you gotta be like if you're from Hawaii, you should be speaking Olelo Hawaii, and I'm I should be if I'm from Hawaii, and I'm not saying that I'm not learning.
But you weren't raised with it.
I wasn't raised with it, but that's the beauty of it is. Yeah, I never really let that cultural part of it stop me. I was just okay, well, yeah, I'm being caught on in it. Yeah, I do want to learn Hawaiian. I do want to learn certain words, and it's. Some people just get so trapped in that. sometimes where I'm just like, you just have to be a good human. Like,
yeah, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, regardless, like you just have to be, and that should be your goal in life, is to be a good human.
Yeah,
not to be like a great monumental surfer, and those accolades are all great, or you know, being able to do certain things, but yeah, it's just.
I feel like if you're like always trying to check off these boxes to become a certain type of person or become like the best Hawaiian, you're gonna have to. I don't know. I can't. Maybe there's a few who, you know, surfs, hunts, fishes.
But in the old school way, that's the thing. It was like some people are just like, oh yeah, I'm kanaka this and that, and I'm like, okay, like the fact of the matter is how did you kill the pig? With a gun? What did you know, like, and it's also understanding that humans, life, everything, it evolves, right? So being stuck sometimes it's not the best benefit for you.
Yeah, it's
good to look back upon and giving grace and praising the people who came before you. I'm very big on that. Like I will say, like the women, like Jennifer Van Giesen was one of them who asked the question, Jody Clark, Haunani, Kane, Malia Kaleopa'a, and like even before that, Auntie Pinoy Makalana. Like I always, every interview, I always say their names because I am basically what it feels like a descendant of them, you know, and it's not right for me to forget that as a human. Like I that's not okay to do. So paying homage or paying whatever. And I sometimes I don't have to say their name, but in what they taught me to do, I'm going to do. You know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, give them their lay when they're still around.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, what is one thing you wish people knew about you that they don't?
Everyone like the hammer thing. Everyone, when they're like, oh, you're in hammer, like immediately people think like, oh, she's scary. I am not scary. Kind of. Nah. I am like,
I almost peed my pants when you walked in.
Shut up. No, you didn't.
No. I had to go pee. That's
oh, okay.
No,
it
wasn't because of you.
Yeah. See, you just.
I was holding it too long.
Yeah. See, that's your fault.
Yeah.
That was your fault. You drank too much chocolate tea.
See, and that's an auntie answer.
See, that's what
you
happens.
got hurt. Yeah, that's so happens when you trip. You're not looking where you're walking.
See, what you looking? Wait, why you asking where your keys stay? You looking with your ass or your eyes? See, exactly. What was your question again?
I forgot. Oh, something you wish people knew about you that they don't.
Oh, that I'm like, I love when people come to say hi. Like I love sitting down, chatting away. Like I'm so like such an auntie. Like I'm the type of person that like if a kid falls down at the mall, like and they're running around the mall, I'm like, what's the matter? It's okay, calm. Like I'm such an auntie in that way. And I want people to know that I'm like I'm nice. Some people think like because they just like affiliate me as like a hammer or a scrapper. I'm like, guys, I'm not. I really am not. I love cooking. I love like walks on the beach. I am like
There's layers.
I'm like an onion. I'm like Shrek.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you got to peel me back one layer at a time. Yeah. But yeah, I want people to be able to like come up and say hi to me. Like some people, like I've had people DM me and they're like, I saw you at the mall, but I was like scared to say hi. I was like, why? And I'll write them back and I'll ask them, why? I mean, maybe I have resting bitch face, but I don't know. I'm just like, just come say hi. I'll be like, oh, what's up?
I would concur. Yeah. She's nice. She's not gonna beat you up.
Unless
you maybe she's boxing or something.
Unless you act stupid, then that's another story.
Yeah. Yeah, I just remembered I saw you in the surf. What's it called? Surf Girls?
Surf Girls.
See,
that's another thing. Everyone thinks that I'm like even more banger.
You were the boxing coach.
Because I was the boxing coach for Pua. And I was just like, Yeah, I do, but I do that on a normal basis. But in my classes, like when I was teaching at Uproar, I was so nice and I'm so patient. Yeah.
She had to think about that. Am I patient?
I was like, am I patient? Sure. But I am. I'm really patient, and that's why I love teaching. So
To
it's like,
such an extent, everybody
yeah, everyone can
got
push.
their
Everyone
yeah,
pushes. You know, some people push my buttons, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I have no shame pushing them back.
Okay. What is the number one advice you'd give to people who want to become an auntie professionally?
The number one advice:
Mhm.
be a good person.
Mm.
Be willing to help anyone in need. Be kind. And to pass it on. I think that's a very auntie thing. I learned a lot from my parents, but I learned from my auntie who passed away that I am a lot like her. But to pay it forward, whatever you learn, pay it forward. Especially that I'm not a parent. So, you know, my highest in the family hierarchy is an auntie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I feel like for me, my responsibility as an auntie is to really pay it forward and to become an auntie. I think you just don't pass judgment. Like, don't judge. Like, just if someone's coming you for help, like, listen to them with open ears and ask them, like, you
Mhm.
want feedback or you need a hug? Which one?
Or after you tell me what you're gonna say, you might need some lickings.
Yeah. If not, then you know, then the 1-2 buckle my shoe call loose special is coming up. But I mean, like, yeah, I think just like to be an auntie is to just to love,
Mhm.
love, especially with the younger generation, to really like love them, because I feel like now a lot of kids get that judgment from especially their parents, because their parents want them to carry a certain legacy. And it's for a lot of the times it's forced with the younger generation, but I feel like as your role as an auntie is to be there and to be the one that's like, if this is not for you, let's try something else.
Mhm.
If you don't like this, say no. You know, like that kind of stuff. It's a different type of love.
Yeah.
I feel like
That's why we have so many aunties and uncles here, because filled with so much love.
yeah.
I'm the cool uncle. I'm like, hey, don't give them candy. Come here.
Yeah, but see, that's the
Don't tell your
thing.
parents.
That's the thing with it being an auntie or an uncle. You can like chameleonize it, right? You can be the cool auntie. You can be
Exactly.
like the hard auntie.
and then they can get mad at their parents.
Yeah, and then the best thing is you can give them back.
Yeah, exactly.
I can be.
That's what I said.
I am like, yeah, come sleep in my house. When you leaving? 2 days. Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'll like watch the kids. I'm like, okay, bye, and then I'll go have my own. The drive home from the North Shore is so nice, but I'm like, oh, you're not mine. I don't know. You're not my kid. Oh, okay, bye.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
you know, so
Mm-hmm.
giving them back.
I think that's the best part. Yeah, I speak openly about not wanting to have kids.
Yeah,
because I love kids and I'm good with kids, and people was very surprised, like, but you're so good with kids and you love them. I'm like, yeah, I love them for 2 hours and then I give them back.
I know everyone used to tell me, they're like, oh my God, you're gonna be such a good mom, and I'm like, oh okay, and they're like, they thought I was gonna be a mom, like I was gonna have 6 kids by the time I was 30. I'm 32. I don't have one child, and I am okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
I am okay with that. If it happens, it happens. If not, like I'm like, I got plenty nieces and nephews that I gotta raise.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I get a lot too.
Yeah, exactly.
And plus, you can just swoop in, be the cool uncle,
and then swoop out, dip out.
Swoop out.
Yeah. And then they ask for you more.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're like, oh, we haven't seen Uncle Kamaka for a while.
It's like you're playing hard to get, you know?
Yeah.
You know, you can't be too available,
right? How narcissistic of us. Oh yeah, it's playing hard to get.
Like, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. I can't hang out with
but
you.
I promise Saturday though, I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they look forward to it. They're all hyped.
Yeah. And then you ghost them. Right?
Yeah. And they're like, oh, shoot. About the same maybe Sunday. Maybe Sunday now.
Okay. So, what would you say that you're most grateful for in life?
What am I most grateful for in life? Oh, geez. The most grateful.
Free stuff.
Free
I was
stuff.
just looking at your
I know.
slippers.
The people I surround myself with, I'm very grateful. Like my family. My family is a big one. I don't want to just say like my family because it like I have such an extended big part of like, you know. So yeah, the people I surround myself with, which include my family, my friends, like
Students. Maybe.
students, yeah. I think just the people that's around me, I feel like that's what I'm really grateful for.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So before we start to wrap up, I gotta know, what is your life hack?
My life hack.
Yes.
Oh God.
And make
My
sure
life
it's
hack?
very, very good.
I know. My life hack.
How do you hack life?
Sleep. That's a very understated thing. Like
it's the most underrated superpower.
Underrated superpower. It is. That is a life hack. Like as soon as and therapy. Therapy is great. Therapy and sleep. Sleep.
So what about sleep therapy?
Sleep therapy is a good. See, okay, so it's sleep therapy. That's my life hack. Is sleep therapy.
What is sleep therapy? Just sleep for therapy, or is that therapy
for sleep?
Yeah,
both. Whatever way you see it as, any way you see it as. But yeah, I think that sounds so whack. My life hack. Sleep.
It makes sense.
I know, but that's like so boring.
But sleep is boring. But it's very beneficial.
But it's super beneficial. But I'm like,
yeah,
I feel
and it's the one thing that most people will agree. Like, I wish I got more sleep. Most people would say, I wish I slept more.
That is true. I'm being my own worst critic right now.
Yeah.
I think final answer is sleep.
I mean, because it's like, if you're sick and you sleep a lot, that you can get a lot better just by sleeping.
Way quicker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't. If you're tired and you just sleep a lot, you feel energized.
Yeah. You know what? It is sleep.
Yeah.
Because even when you do travel, when you want to, and the time difference, that's the one thing I learned. Actually, here we go. Now we get into it. Yeah, is sleep. Sleep on the plane. If you know that you're landing at, say, like from here to Australia, which is, I don't know, like an 18-hour difference or something crazy, like 16 hours, is to sleep on the plane. And if not, to know when you're landing. So that way you can set your sleep schedule. Because that is literally what starts your entire trip. Is your sleep. The second you are jet lagged, you're screwed. Like there was times where I was up at 1 a.m. being like, okay, well, should I surf? Like I can't do anything right now. It's 1 a.m. And then by the time the sun comes up, I'm tired and I can't go surf. So it's like, yeah, sleep.
Yeah, I read a book about sleep, and that's I understand the importance of it.
Yeah, and
by Matthew Walker.
And I did like the brain health therapy stuff. The first thing they'll tell you is what's your circadian rhythm. If you're not sleeping, like you should be getting, and my body naturally gets the best sleep with 6 hours, not 7 to 8. But I like if I don't sleep good, I am screwed the next day. Like I am, like the other day, I flew home last week from Utah and I was jet lagged. I was falling asleep at like 7:30, waking up at 3. I was so pissed.
Yeah. I
was so pissed. So I hunkered down. I just drank like 2 cups of coffee like throughout the day. And then I fell asleep at like 9 and then I reset my sleep schedule. So sleep.
Sleep more.
Sleep. And if not, sleep you. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
That's so funny.
Sleep you, boy. No, I'm just kidding.
But that's good you mentioned that some people function on certain hours of sleep, because we are also told like 8 hours sleep, whatever.
Yeah.
But some people are good with just 6 hours. Some people need a little bit more. I function off 6 hours.
Same. If I go 8 hours, I'm so sluggish.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's
crazy.
Sometimes when I sleep longer or stay in bed, I feel it's more lazy.
More prone to like stay in bed, right?
Yeah.
If I sleep 6 hours, then I'm like, I'm good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a good one.
Sleep. Has anyone ever said that one?
No.
Was everyone just like, oh, like life hack, like.
I mean, people say like drink water in the morning. That's as boring
Oh,
as sleeping.
that's a good one. That's
Yeah.
another one.
I'm
Life
just like,
hack,
do
drink
people not
water.
drink water in the morning?
I mean, I suck at that. The first thing I put on my lips is coffee.
Huh?
Yeah, it's not water.
That's true.
That's
I
a
guess
good
I'm
one.
not
That's
a
a
coffee.
good life
I'm
hack.
not a coffee drinker, so I only drink water. So I guess for me, I'm just like,
Oh, jeez.
nobody
Talk
drinks
about
water.
an athlete. Jesus. I'm over here like, yeah, I need friggin' coffee every 2 seconds.
water's wealth.
Yeah, water as well.
Yeah. Before we get into my last fast fave 5 questions, these are just rapid fire answers. I just wanna know, what is your future goals? You know, in 5, 10, 20 years, where do you see yourself at?
I would love to keep coaching more. Honestly, I would love to buy a house. I would love to start an actual coaching, like a surf coaching business, like an actual thing.
Auntie Meg Surf
Auntie Meg Surf School. I know, and that's got a ring to it.
Yeah.
I want to do that, like that side of it to like, yeah, it's like to be an entrepreneur in that sense, but also give back. I feel like that I want to be able to do that, is start that, and hopefully keep surfing. I mean,
And that's something that you always do. Right?
yeah. And sometimes what's funny is the older I got, the more I realized how much I needed it. And like, I'll be having a shitty day and I'm just like, the last thing I want to do is surf. And the second I force myself to, I'm so much happier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm hoping that I can still surf and travel. I love traveling.
Okay.
I love learning new things. Like I love learning new languages. I love learning new cultures. I love just learning.
You joined the Peace Corps.
That sounds very committal. Very committed.
2-year commitment, yeah. If you like getting water from a well and taking bucket baths. But you learn a lot.
That's true. I don't know if I go that far.
Yeah, you don't have to. But it's always an option. I did Peace Corps Madagascar.
Did you?
That's why I'm saying it, yeah.
That's so cool.
It's the best experience of my life.
Is it really? How long were you there for?
3 years. I extended for an extra year.
3 years? You were in Madagascar for 3 years?
Yeah. I lived in like a rural kind of...
what do they speak? French?
Malagasy. French is the second language.
Oh,
French it's an official language.
Yeah.
But Malagasy is the first language.
So you did 3 years.
Yeah.
In Madagascar.
Yeah. Just like getting water from a well, pooping in holes, teaching English.
That's pretty cool, actually.
It was amazing. Yeah,
I never thought of that.
It made me who I am.
I always just thought the Peace Corps was just like, for some reason, I like relate it back to like religion, and it was like you had to be a nun or something. I don't know why I thought
There's
that.
like the Mormon missions. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought of that, but
yeah, it's a non-religious organization.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah.
See, I just learned something.
Yeah. You love learning.
Yeah. I gotta look into that, actually. That'd be pretty cool.
It's super cool, but it is a long commitment.
Yeah.
So I did it right after college.
3 years.
Yeah, I did it right after college. So I got back
in Madagascar.
Yeah.
That is wild.
Yeah, I got back to Hawaii in 2019.
Oh, recently?
Yeah, kind of recently. Like, I've been here for 5 years, for end of 2019, so about 4 years, 4.5 years.
Holy crap. Do you get paid in the Peace Corps?
No, it's volunteer.
Wow.
Yeah. But you get like a monthly stipend.
Yeah. Like for like food and whatever.
Yeah, Madagascar is really poor, so we got like $180 a month. But you could stretch it a long way.
Yeah, I mean, like food there for like a week is probably what, like $10?
A couple dollars, yeah.
Yeah, a couple of bucks.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Different perspective on life and everything like that.
Wow.
All right, well, let's get into our last fast fave 5. I said it way too fast.
That's fast.
Last fast fave 5 questions.
I don't even know how you said that. Last
fast
fave.
fave.
Last fast
fave 5.
Last fast fave 5.
Yeah.
Sir, you just tongue twisted yourself.
Last fast fave 5 questions, okay? Favorite travel destination?
Maldives.
Okay, that sounds like a beautiful place. I've seen pictures.
Yeah, the waves there are so fun.
Okay, I gotta get there one day. Favorite post-water snack?
Oh man, you're gonna bring food into this? I can't just choose one.
Okay, well, snacks.
Oh,
it's
snack.
I said snack, but let's make it plural.
To me, like a beef stew plate lunch is a snack. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not
Okay,
you know.
favorite post-surf food.
Okay. Post-surf.
Or post-water, post-activity. How about that?
Post-activity, like food.
Yeah.
A Pokeball.
Okay, well, from where?
Like a if I could choose, like if I dinged it and it came into my lap.
You have Uber snaps.
Uber snaps,
Yeah.
taniokas.
Okay.
With fried chicken skin on the side.
Oh, I never thought about that. I like the
He knows.
yeah.
He knows what's up. Taniokas. That's a killer combo.
What kind of poke?
I'm like I like any of it.
Spicy, sweet.
I would do like a double combo, half. I would maybe choose like one spicy and then one that has to have limu in it.
Yeah.
Or limu kohu in it. And then a side of pickled onions and then a side of lomi oil.
Okay, so just buy the whole place then.
Yeah. So that's why when you said snack, I was like, sir, you can't ask me what I eat after I surf. Like it's the entire refrigerator at Tanioka's.
Okay.
Like,
so favorite post-activity snack, entire refrigerator at Tanioka's.
Yes.
Okay, good answer.
Or at Ruger's Market.
Okay, nice.
Yep.
Yes.
Look, see, he knows.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I gotta go eat with you.
Hey, let's go again.
We're going. What time is it?
It's 2:30. If we leave right
bro,
now,
we gotta go. Sorry,
we got 2 more questions.
You got only 2 more questions.
Okay, favorite way to recharge.
Oh God, eat.
Okay, leave it at that. Favorite drink. Tanioka refrigerator.
Tanioka refrigerator. My favorite drink. Oh man. Alcoholic or no?
Either.
That's how you knew I was such an auntie. I was like,
however, yeah.
on margarita.
Yeah.
No.
Alcoholic and non-alcoholic.
Okay, alcoholic, Mexican mule.
Okay.
Okay. Non-alcoholic, a Zevia cream soda.
Zevia. Is that like the Diamond Head cream soda kind of thing? I don't know.
No, Zevia is the one that's like the sugar-free.
Oh, I've never seen that before. Okay, I gotta look out for it.
It's a winner.
Okay. And favorite time of the day?
Like sunset. Evening time.
Nice.
I love an evening time.
I'm a sunset guy over sunrise.
Yeah. I don't mind I don't know sunrise. I like the morning. Like I love morning rituals, but I love the nighttime. I was always a night owl as a kid. Like I was up till midnight, just like, oh, what am I gonna do tomorrow? Yeah.
Okay, right on. Well, that's all we have for you today. Mahalo for coming on, talking stories. It's awesome meeting you. Do you have anything you want to share? If not, let us know where we can find you.
You can find me at Instagram at auntie Megs. I don't even know my own Instagram handle. Yeah. At auntie Megs _
With like 2 Z's or
3 Z's.
3 Z's.
3 Z's.
3 Z's because you sleepy. That's why.
Yeah,
you're sleep you if you don't follow.
Is my life hack. So 3 Z's.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and hit me on Instagram.
Okay.
Auntie, I think it's auntie _ Megs.
Auntie _ Megs. Okay.
Oh God, I'm so horrible. What is it?
Well, I'll link it. I'll link your profile in this, so you guys don't have to look for it.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. It's auntie _ Megs with 3 Z's.
3 Z's. Okay, well, you heard it here first, people. So go follow her. Doing awesome things. Good luck with the coaching.
Thank you.
Don't sleep me.
I'm not. No. You better do your freaking shropa. If not,
I will. I'll let you know when
There's
I do
nothing like a pressured shropa that'll like get you to
I'm battling injuries right now, so whenever I get back in the water.
We'll build up.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Well, mahalo, Auntie Megs, for joining us on the Keep It Aloha podcast. Spread love, be kind to one another, and mahalo for listening to us today. We have new episodes every Thursday, so make sure you follow us and leave a review. I'm your host, Kamaka. Remember to always keep it aloha.
Gee.
Right on. Shwapa.
Yeah, shwapa, brah.